8th day of August 2022, and let's get some headlines. It's 7:23 right now.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Blake.
Good morning. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What you got for us?
Right. So good morning, everyone. I think I need to make one little adjustment here. So news headlines this morning include the fact that there was a fatality, it looks like, in the early morning hours. Unfortunately, there is a vehicle. It looks like a single vehicular accident on Eastern Avenue, close to the Flow main office and Champion House. So if you are a person who normally takes that route to work, you may want to reconsider your options as the road is blocked off this morning by the RCMPS. So I suspect that we will be hearing more about that situation. So over the weekend, big news in the entertainment front locally. Miss Cayman, the new Miss Cayman was crowned. Her name is Tiffany Connolly. So congratulations, Tiffany. And of course, I guess it wouldn't be a Miss Cayman without some degree of controversy. So there's a lot of controversy swirling around Miss Cayman, and a lot of people are really upset in the community that she actually won the title. Not so much that she won the title, but that she was found eligible to win it, to even be in the competition, given that she has current charges in court that have not been dealt with. So that's
what are the charges?
Blake, I think I'm still not hearing you. Speak up for me. Let me see.
What are the 1, 2, 3?
Not hearing you. Hold on now.
Okay.
We'll get it sorted out. I think somebody was messing with my wires overnight, so something may have gotten unplugged. All right. So congratulations to the Cayman Islands squash team. We have won gold. Yay. So yes, this is fantastic news. The Cayman Islands, a duo of, let me get their names because this is beautiful. We've got Julian Jervis and Cameron Stafford won the squash men's doubles plate finals on Sunday, beating Barbados 2-0. So congratulations to these young men. That's all we've got on that right now. But hey, we were happy enough to put that up on our Facebook page and social media, because I think this might be the first time. Is it the first time that we've won gold at a Commonwealth game? Anyway, we'll get that confirmed. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. And also good morning to what we found out over the weekend is that the Miss Universe pageant is actually going to be changing some of the criteria for entering. So now wives and mothers can actually enter the competition. That's quite something, actually.
Wow.
So that's going to be pretty interesting to see exactly how that works. People are asking the questions, like, there's just a lot of questions surrounding it. So I guess we'll find out. That starts in the 2023 competition. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But do they change the name from MISS if it's like, if you're married? I don't know. So anyway, an armed robbery in Georgetown over the weekend has people suspecting that they may know who the armed robber is, because there's pretty good video footage. Go on our website or social media pages and have a look for yourselves. But there's pretty good video footage of the individual who conducted the robbery. And so, he's wearing a hat. Looks like he borrowed his granny's hat. A brown hat, tan hat, a tan long sleeve, kind of looks like a little cardigan or sweater, blue jeans, white shoes, and a crossbody bag, which was a little bit interesting. And he walked in there with a yellow bag and threw it in and said, "Give me the money." But the most interesting thing about this robbery, Blake, is we all are pretty sure that he's a Caymanian, despite pretending to have a Jamaican accent in the initial part of the robbery. So yeah, he tried a fast one, but all the social media detectives have ruled out that it's actually Jamaican. So I've just changed my settings back so I can hear you. So
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we'll figure out the proper heads
So
up.
there's audio in the video as well.
Sorry, say that again.
There's audio in the video as well.
Oh yes.
Oh,
You gotta go watch it. There's definitely audio. And
Interesting.
in the beginning of it, he had a really, you thought, oh, that's a Jamaican. Then you go, as he continued completing the robbery, he said certain things that you heard that Cayman accent come out, and you're like, oh, come on
Mm.
now. You're
Hey,
not a Jamaican.
now that you can hear me, I want to go back to the Miss Cayman story really quick. We have a minute left. What are the
Yes.
charges that Miss Connolly is facing?
Oh my gosh. It's 6 charges,
Mm-hmm.
including several for common assault, assaulting a police officer on more than one occasion. And I think 2 are related to property damaging. She threw like a bicycle
And is
at a
this all
windshield and
related
broke it.
to one incident, or is this
Yeah, those are all one. But the most interesting thing about this is her 3rd time at the courtroom rodeo, unrelated 3rd time. And there have been other numerous times that she didn't quite make it to court.
well,
So
being
tune in right
charged?
now if you guys want to hear more about it. We're gonna
Yeah,
break it down.
being charged doesn't mean convicted, so we'll have to see.
Yeah,
how that
but she's got
unfolds.
2 previous convictions that were not recorded.
Well, check out Sandy right now on Bobo 89.1 FM, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Tuesday headlines. Our segment with
Sounds
CMAR brought to you
beautiful.
exclusively
Have a
on
good day.
Kiss FM and Blake.
All right. Uh-oh. Let me hit my intro song. Good morning, everybody.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
How are you guys doing? Happy Monday. I just need to sort out something with my headset because it's not working through the headset. And when people call in, I think that might cause some feedback. So I'm going to get some technical help in the studio this morning. And then we're going to take it from there. But good morning, everybody. I see y'all are up and ready early, honey child. Y'all ready for some sus? Mhm. So all right, so we're going to try to get this sorted out this morning. Good morning, everybody. So how are you guys doing, by the way? I had a very eventful weekend. Just give me a quick second here. Let me just find what I'm looking for. Yeah, I feel like that should be a song. I gotta find what I'm looking for. Everybody doing okay? All right, happy Monday. So listen, let's just get to it because I see over 200 of you are up already. All right, so yes, we are live and direct, trying to get the news as it comes in. All right, you guys are. All right, let's get it. I'm listening on the radio. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Bless up, bless up, bless up. All right. I don't know what's going on with the audio, but listen, we're gonna call the technical help, aka hubby. Come and sort this audio issue out, honey. Ciao. I need to be able to hear when callers call in this morning because we might have some people calling in from overseas who want to give their opinion and their experiences, more importantly, on this situation. So listen, I was away for the weekend. I had to step out of here for a brief minute. Went to Miami, or as my daughter calls it, Urami. And This is strange. He didn't unplug the other one, but I can't hear anything through it. Okay. Just give me one quick second, folks. I just want to test something out real quick.
I hear the people talking. What are they talking about? This world's gone crazy, and I'm trying to find a way out. Nobody knows where we're going.
I like to touch anything because I like to keep it all all working perfectly fine. So no, that isn't. This is headsets. This is headset over here. All right, folks, just give me one quick second. Let's just do a quick song.
I hear the people talking. What are they talking about?
All right, good folks. We're good to go. So that's such an appropriate song for so many things. I absolutely love that song. Every time it plays, it says, I hear the people talking. What are they talking about? Well, y'all know what we're talking about here this morning. Let's get it. So listen, went to Miami for the weekend. You know, it's that time of the year now when you have a child who's in regular school, school uniform time and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I had to get the school uniform sorted out. They were on order, so I just had to go and pick them up. And I was quite interested to hear that over the weekend, I guess for the past week or whatever, they actually had tax-free. So I caught the tail end of the tax-free weekend in Miami. I was like, darn it. You know, when I come up here with no real money to spend, all of a sudden y'all are having a tax-free weekend, no taxes on clothes and shoes, under $100, and electronics under like $1,500 or whatever. So I thought, wow, that's good, because man, them taxes kind of creep up on you. They nickel and dime you and every little thing with taxes, right? Anyway, mission accomplished. Got back last night. Thank you. Big shout out to the Cayman Airways pilots and staff. Everything was on time. We were a few minutes late coming in last night, but that was just because, you know, the takeoff in Miami, they have to wait in queue and they had to load all the luggage, but uneventful. Shout out to the custom staff at the airport and the baggage handlers. Man, they be working overtime. I feel so bad for those guys, knowing that some of them are barely making $2,000 a month and they be lifting some heavy luggage. Y'all better be tipping these guys nice. So anyway, I'm in Miami minding my own business. And y'all know. Woo! Yes, I was there minding my own business. And I knew that the pageant was obviously on this weekend. You know, the pageant folks, they're a little bit salty at me at the moment. They always think, and I mean, this is just so untrue, but they always seem to think that I'm always picking on their pageant girls. They're like, oh, you know, Sandy's so hard on us. And I'm going to tell you the history of why they want to say that, because every single year that something pops off, we be there and we be ready to announce it. And they don't like that. They, you know, like most people in Cayman, it's all about the show. So as long as everybody looks good, it really does not matter what the substance of the situation is. And we're gonna listen. If you're not ready for real conversation this morning, do yourselves a favor and do me a favor and just log off the connection, because it is such a shame that this country, all of us, seem to really be caught up in the world of pretense. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, give me a second because we're going to get there. So, yes. So, you know, just one of those things where we see that it's just absolutely crazy. But I'm in Miami in the hotel room, long day on Saturday, right? Because that's like my only full day. And I'm just like, oh, I just want to kick off my shoes. I need a foot rub. Nobody there to rub it for me, so I got to rub it myself. Minded my own business. I knew we had the feed up on social media for the competition. Now, you guys remember maybe 3-4 weeks ago, or maybe even a little bit longer than that, we talked about this controversial situation of a Miss Cayman being in court with current charges. Lord knows I did my best to just kind of go easy on the situation, like just let's see what's going to happen. I kept having people message me, Sandy, she's favored to win. Everybody's saying she's favored to win. I'm like, let's just wait and see, because I don't know. I'm not watching the pageant that closely. I don't know who else the other girls are. Let's just take a moment and see what's going to happen. Let's not jump to any conclusions, is what I was thinking. So yeah, this person wants me to message them. I can't exactly message you right now. This is one of the guests that actually wants to come in. So anyway, yes, they, let me see if I can get Kevin to help me out with this. It's a little bit hard to do certain things and talk and think at the same time. So Kevin, are you available? What I want you to do is to add this number to WhatsApp and then send me the contact, because they can't seem to add us. When you're overseas, sometimes you can't remember how to do all the digits and what you put before it and whatever. Okay. All right. So yeah, so there I am in the hotel, sore feet, been walking all day, getting a little bit of exercise in, minding my own business. And, the pageant went on forever. First of all, they need to consider starting the pageant a little bit earlier, because after 11 o'clock is a little bit late for these people to be out. And sometimes it's like young kids, who are out there supporting their family members who are in this pageant. So it just goes on and on. And it's like midnight and this pageant's still going on. And it's kind of like, ooh, at midnight, she's going to turn into the princess and clickety click and walk off in her little shoes and whatever. It's just too late. Anywho, I'm sitting there. I was actually watching a Lifetime movie, these crazy Lifetime movies where you've always got the crazy woman trying to kill the man. In this case, it was a crazy man trying to take back his childhood home and kill everybody in it. And I'm sitting there watching that and monitoring the feed. So, some of the people like, oh, she hasn't won anything yet. They have, most photogenic, most personality, most bonkers shaking, this and that and whatever. And they're like, oh, she hasn't won anything yet. So maybe, somebody else is going to take the title. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know. And then all of a sudden it just snuck up on you. The person said to me, oh, you spoke too soon, because she just won Miss Photogenic. And then she won Best in Gown. It was rapid fire, like towards the end, right? They started announcing all these other prizes, and she didn't win anything initially. Okay. And so, yes, next thing you know, they announced that she's the winner. Lord Jesus, what did they do that for? All of a sudden, my phone, poor little iPhone. Oh, iPhones seem to overheat really, really easy when they're out in direct sun. And this is what started happening. The poor phone was blowing the frig up. All of a sudden, bling, 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 bling. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Everybody, they granny, the dog was sitting there messaging me, and they're like, what on earth? They cannot believe that this is happening. I was like, calm down. Take a moment. The rapid fire of messages was just unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, it was just one message after the next. The general consensus is one of shock, utter shock and dismay, that this young lady had won. Now, those of you who may not be familiar with the situation, let me be very clear. It wasn't that she didn't do a great job. Everybody says, she answered her question well. She was well poised. She looked great in her gown. All the things that you want in a pageant queen on stage. Tiffany Conley delivered. And that is fantastic, except for there's this elephant in the room that everybody was happy to ignore. So, ignoring this was unfortunately really, really sad. And I think what it has now done, we're going to talk about the possible repercussions to Tiffany herself. The committee needs to take full responsibility for putting this young lady in the line of fire. Now, you know what is so crazy? They actually, as is typical, and we're going to talk about when you should take responsibility for certain things. Of course, they're not going to take any responsibility this morning for this situation, right? And I'm giving them more of the blame here that I'm going to give Tiffany. And I'm going to tell you the logic behind why this is. And the first time we talked about it, I explained as well why it's the committee that has to be held responsible, not poor little Tiffany. Now, she needs to be held responsible in other ways, which we will discuss. Okay. I see almost 500 of you almost on the live feed this morning. I know you're very interested in this topic. So here's the situation. Everybody is thinking, how could this happen? How could someone who's in court at the moment for 6 charges, right? Let me just mute. I'm aware this thing keeps pinging in y'all head. Let me just mute this. Who is in court for 6 charges, including assaulting the police on multiple times during the last incident. How is it possible that this young lady could actually be the reigning Miss Cayman? And to be quite frank and honest, it is a legitimate question that the committee themselves are happy to ignore. And I want to talk about pomp and circumstance and pretense. And when, as a people, we have to start taking some responsibility in this country for the things that we sit back and allow to happen. Miss Vernita, good morning. Omiria says, good morning, Sandy. Thank God for another beautiful day. Amen. Vernita says, congratulations to the squash team. Verita, sorry. Olivia's here. Felicia, lots of you tuned in. Gina, Robert, Barbara, Dion, Sue. Let's get it. Patrina, we'll come back to that. Good morning to Carmelie. So, I gotta tell you, up to yesterday, I'm in Miami trying to get a few last minute things done and people blowing up my phone. Sandy, what is this all about? How is this possible? I'm just like, give me a minute to process this, right? This is exactly what we foresee happening. That this young lady, and by the way, this is her second time. Everybody's like, oh, she was the best. Well, I would expect her to be the best because unlike the other young ladies, this is her second time in the pageant. This is her second time running. Now, you see, this committee, they think that they're smarter. And I hope that they don't take any offense to what I'm going to say this morning, but if they do, and some of them are my good friends that I have known for donkey years, and I remain disappointed in their response to this entire situation. Now, I hope that they realize that friendships endure a lot. And this isn't something that should allow any friendship to falter. If it does, then something was wrong with the friendship to begin with. But what it boils down to, Jaron Carter, is Jaron up this morning? Because I want to talk to Jaron as well. What this boils down to is that as Caymanians, and maybe the world, we sit back and buy into, if you look pretty and you sound good, it doesn't make a difference what kind of person you are. And this is really, really dangerous. And so many of you are, I wouldn't say so many of you, but Some of you are in favor, you know, of Tiffany winning because that's your cousin. One person posted that. That's my cousin. And every day I post congratulations to her. Good for you. I like that you support your cousin. What I don't like is the fact that you're not capable of separating two different things. Support and love family if you can. That's different than supporting the behavior when something is wrong. They are two very, very different things. And so separate them if you can, because the good book, y'all love to be quoting the Bible. I'm going to talk about your Bible quotes here this morning. Kevin, did you have a chance to get those Bible quotes ready for me? Y'all love to quote the Bible when it's convenient. And we're not going to talk about what you're doing outside of quoting your Bible. Oh, he without sin. And then, yeah, they're fornicating and doing the most. I'm just in here chuckling to myself, thinking, boy, y'all not easy, nah? Y'all really not easy, not at all. Supporting your cousin, and then you started coming at people who don't support the foolishness. Oh, the threat started. One young man, he's been questioning this situation for a long time. He's like, I don't know this young lady, but this is just wrong on a matter of principle. He's even gone as far as reaching out to the Miss Cayman International Committee to say, are you guys aware of this? Do you know what is happening in the Cayman Islands? I said, Jesus, talk about national embarrassment that's going to be called down on the people of the Cayman Islands. And the committee did not care. This is the part now where this will be squarely on their shoulders. If this young lady is stripped of her title, which is very likely to happen, right? If she is stripped of her title, and God knows what her response will be, but it ain't going to be pretty. The committee has no one to blame but themselves. And you know, they going to be doing their best to blame everybody else. They going to blame us. Well, Sandy didn't talk about it. They going to blame Mr. Tony. I think that's his name. If he didn't contact the international committee. Wow. I can see the blame coming from a mile away. When they're the ones who put this young lady in the line of fire, which I think is unfortunate. So, let's talk about the history, because it is important to put things in context. They started threatening him about, oh, she's going to come and do stuff to you, which I don't know who these people are that were sending these threatening messages to this young man, because he posted some stuff. Tony posted some stuff on social media. And, he's a Caymanian who's owning it. Most of you are WhatsApping me privately, and I'm going to read some of those messages here in a second. And you're upset, and you're going on with the most, but you're not going to say anything publicly. Now, some of you are not going to say anything publicly because you work for government. You're high-ranking officials and all sorts of stuff. And so that's fine. I ain't got no problem with it. We're not going to worry about that too much. It is what it is. Tony, on the other hand, has been very vocal with his position. His position is on a matter of principle. This is wrong. And so he's taken to social media to express his dismay, tagging me and everybody else under the sun. So he's getting threatening messages, even to me. Y'all try to come at me. And I was like, ooh, on a good day, y'all are crazy to try to come at me. Because number one, my mouth don't join church. I can tell it like it is, and I don't really care. And truthful telling should be happening in church, to be quite frank. Morning, Sarah from Cayman Brack. But we know up in the church, even up in there, y'all be lying. So I had my aunt message me. Oh, Sandy, they say must remind you of your past. I said, oh, Auntie. Oh, is that supposed to hurt me? Remind me of my past. Okay. Is that some kind of a subtle threat that's not so subtle? because I don't care. Yes, remind me of my past. As a matter of fact, I told my aunt in no uncertain terms to please have them call in and remind me of my past this morning. Be bold. Call in. What past would they be talking about exactly? Because I've certainly never beat up anybody in my life. I've not assaulted or boxed down the police. I've not scraped up a girl and cut her face with, I forget what the instrument was, during a carnival. I have certainly not beaten my own mother. And I've also not beaten my own sister. So let's talk about my past. Shall we? Tell them to call in. Because there's something that we do that is very, very interesting in this country. And I'm going to address this, and then we're going to look at the history. Let me say this much. When somebody says something that we don't like, right? Like this situation. Look at this. How is this possible? The first thing y'all want to do is what we call deflection. Well, look at Makiva Bush. Somebody on Instagram says it all started with Makiva Bush. And I said, what are you talking about? It all started with Makiva Bush? No, Bobo. Not today. Started, Caymanians. We have had these sorts of issues for a really long time in this country. This not start with nobody who's alive right now, if truth be known. This has been going on for a long time, where Caymanians are happy to put people on a pedestal and turn a blind eye to the truth. Then I start with no Makiva Bush. Makiva Bush wasn't even, this started from when Jesus was in diapers. We live in a community where people are happy for you to have a pretty face, and as Caymanians would say, have a dirty behind. Right? They know what you're up to. But just because you're cute, you get an automatic pass. Just because they like you, you get a pass in this life. That is not something, folks, that just started with no Makiva Bush. Let us be very clear. But the deflection that happens is illogical, and I'm going to tell you why. When the incident happened with Makiva, now some of y'all might not have been paying attention to the show at that time, but we had a huge following on social media. CMR was the first one to break the story of the alleged assault. And we followed it through to its logical conclusion. And y'all know, at no point ever have I given Makiva the right to assault or put his hands on anyone. Now, after the Compass during the election leaked the video, a lot of y'all changed your mind about the incident. Well, that's interesting. But at no point did I ever give Makiva right. The same energy that I have for this situation and all other similar situations, I had for Makiva Bush. In fact, I was out there covering the protests, the multiple protests. The same ones who are sitting down now talking about, oh, well, let's look at Makiva Bush. It started with him. You weren't even there. You were not part of the discussion when it was relevant. So this lets me know that you care not about anything on a matter of principle. Just because you like Tiffany as a friend, and you're entitled to like her as a friend. What you're not entitled to do is to bring your illogical arguments to the table without having them adequately addressed. Oh, well, look at this situation. Look at that situation. Oh, why aren't y'all talking about the baby in Cayman Brack? Deflection. We have been, and we continue As soon as we get something new, as soon as they make some arrests, which I hope to God they do, we will be updating you on the baby in Cayman back. But what does that have to do with this situation? Huh? The two have nothing to do with each other. And here is the most important thing. I know this is going to be difficult for some of you to entertain. The human brain is very complex. You have the ability, right, to process more than one idea at the same time. So you have the ability to be upset about the baby situation and be outraged about this at the same time. It's not an either or either, folks. You know, it's both. So yes, I am more than perturbed that a child has lost her life in a situation, whatever the details are, that should have never happened. And somebody has to be held accountable for that. I am perturbed last week that a poor dog lost his life in a situation that should have never happened. And somebody should be held accountable for that. And I am perturbed this morning that we have now elected or appointed, or whatever the hell the word is, a Miss Cayman who has a record that is deplorable, to say the least. And somebody should be held accountable for that, AKA the committee, in case you're not clear. The committee needs to be disbanded completely this morning. Y'all hear me? They're not mutually exclusive. My brain doesn't just have to focus on one thing. But you see, you guys use that as a convenience to try to distract people. That's what this is all about. Oh, well, focus on this. Focus on McKeever's incident, which happened 2 years ago. He was focused on. You missed the boat. You were not paying attention. We more than focused on him. We rode his behind like he was the donkey for the century. He got his. Now you don't worry about that. And like I said, you obviously were not principled or concerned about it because you were nowhere part of the conversation at the time. But it's just a cheap tactic to say, oh, don't look at Tiffany. Don't look at this situation. Don't look at the committee. Don't ask the hard questions, because this is how we roll in the Cayman Islands. We don't believe in accountability. It's just a word that we throw around really cheaply when it's convenient for us. We want to talk about accountability with politicians. Folks, accountability starts in your personal life and in your home. That's where it begins. And then it goes out from there into the community. The premier is always saying community builds country. Families, individuals build country too. It starts on the personal level, then your family, then you start to go into your community. That's why sometimes I be looking at these politicians thinking they're the biggest jokes this side of the Mississippi. Because your personal life can't be a hot mess of a situation. You can't be out there living this duplicitous life and then expect to run the country and expect to gain respect from people. Oh, just because I'm the MP, just because I'm a minister, well, I'm going to call total BS. And it is that same type of thinking that has led us to where we are today. Even with this situation, no accountability, no honesty. At some point in your life, folks, you've got to be honest with the man in the mirror and everything else around you. This is the truth. This is gospel. right? So when we're not able to be honest, we find ourselves in situations like this. All right. Moya said, let's hear the history. Let's back it up. Now, I believe, folks, in redemption. I believe in second chances. And I know so do all of you. That's part of our Christian heritage, if nothing else. But the Bible also speaks, and don't be, listen, I am no, let me be very, very clear here now. Don't y'all think I'm a pastor, because I ain't. I'm just a regular run-of-the-mill sinner on a good day. Can I get an amen up in here to that one? So I am not here to talk about, oh, I'm perfect, or I need y'all to be perfect, and let's put you on a pedestal. That's not what this is about. I'm going to give y'all a dose of reality. And like I said, I believe in redemption. I believe in forgiveness. And I believe, those of you who are more well-versed on the Bible than me, that the Bible must also speak, and we can look it up here this morning, about accountability and taking responsibility for when you do something wrong. All right, here we go. The first time that Tiffany was reported on, like I said, she has ran for Miss Cayman before, right? So she's a seasoned pageant girl, I guess as seasoned as you can get here in the Cayman. Someone made the observation that her sister ran twice as well and won the second time. Listen, I like somebody with tenacity. Good. You know, if you want to run 5 times and there's nothing in the rules against it, and every time you get better and eventually you win, well, bless your little heart. It shows that you're tenacious. Like that crown means a lot to you, and you can get that crown no matter what. Good. All right. August the 7th of 2008. Lord Jesus, what is today's date? August 8th. Wow. Almost a year to the date. Yesterday would have been a year to the date that we first reported on this young lady. Wow. Back in 2008. What year are we in now, y'all? This is 2022. So that would be 4 years ago. Good morning, Wayne. I see lots of you, over 600 people pushing the 700 mark just on social media alone. Miss Cayman hopeful, August 7th, 2018, embroiled in viral Facebook posts leading up to pageant. Remember, the pageant used to be a little bit later, right? So this story is about her taking her sister's car, who was the reigning Miss Cayman at the time, Annika Connolly, or Anika, right? Taking her car and hitting the vehicle of mother of 2, Miss Salima Solomon Berry. And despite Miss Salima not being at fault for the fender bender, she was having difficulty getting little Miss Tiffany to do the right thing with the vehicle. So, in fact, Jonathan, refresh your feed. I'm not aware of any other complaints. So try just coming out and refreshing it. In fact, she was so dismayed by the whole thing that she took to her social media page and she posted about it. She said that her Ford Escape was hit by this young lady when she was collecting her daughter from school. And she has had a very difficult time getting her vehicle fixed. Listen to this. Because the devil is in the details, and the details are important. So, Owen, you just hold on. You're going to understand. This isn't after the fact. There are current charges, but I want to give you all a complete history of what has transpired. Let me just take one quick break here because my sinuses are still, I think it's a Saharan dust now. I'm really convinced. But just give me one quick second here. All right, folks, trying to keep my sinuses as clear as possible so y'all can hear me. So, Owen, to answer your question, I want you to continue to listen. As you can't just jump in on the conversation and not been paying attention. We addressed this at least a month ago in hopes that we would not be getting to this situation and where we are today. And the committee sat back and allowed it to happen regardless. All right. So let's review. We're only reviewing to put things in proper context. So when people say to me, by way of a not so subtle threat, or not to me, because they know better than that, when they go to my poor 70-something-year-old aunt and say, oh, remind Sandy of her history. You see, this is the kind of stuff now that they need to be careful with, because when I got my facts, I got my facts. Remind me of my history. What history would you be talking about? Because the history of this young lady is a mile long. Right? We'll talk about redemption here in a second. But if you want to remind people of their history, that's exactly what we're going to do this morning. And there are many of us who are with fault in this life, but don't even have, we've lived twice as long and don't have a history as colorful as this. So poor Salima was given car registration and insurance paperwork and decided to contact the police after she realized that the insurance expired 3 years earlier. Y'all heard what the lawyer, Ms. Tiz, said last week about people who drive around without insurance? Somebody's on a roadway driving around with expired insurance for 3 years. Thank God there was no loss of life, because there would be nobody to pay for it. This speaks to people's character when they can ignore the most basic and fundamental laws of this country. But that's not enough, because they will turn around and beat your behind and beat the police as well. We're going to get there. Then what does she do? Well, after the police are contacted, she later finds out that the person is a Miss Cayman contestant. Okay. Then she starts to change her story and blame the victim. Wow. When you do something wrong, folks, right? The police come to your front door. Miss, you've been driving without insurance for 3 years. All right, officer, I just fessed up. Listen, my fault. Handle it. like somebody reminded me last week. Once, many, many years ago, I got my license suspended because my insurance had expired. It certainly wasn't 3 years. It wasn't 1 year, and it wasn't even months. But it had expired, and I didn't realize it, and the law does not care. Bloop, Margaret Ramsey, San Sandra. And I was like, oh, shit. Yes, Miss Ramsey. Sorry, you're not driving for the next year, my girl. I said, all right, boss. You take responsibility. It took the police, several police officers in attendance provided her with an analysis of the accident, because again, now she's trying to change the story, right? You run into this poor woman's Ford vehicle on the side where her daughter is. Now you're trying to change up the story and say she was at fault, and the police say, no, actually you were. Look, there's no way that she could be at fault for this accident. So eventually she accepted fault for the accident and agreed to pay for the damages. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is what Miss Barry posted on Facebook. She said, I later found out that in addition to not having insurance for the car, the young lady did not possess a valid driver's license. Also, even if the car was insured, because the young lady driving at the time was under the age of 25, she was not covered by the policy. There are people who have no regard for any of the rules at all because you grew up in an entitled situation. And I'm going to talk about having a rough life and how much of a pass and how much of an excuse that gives you this morning as well. Let me get my tea. If you're not ready for the conversation this morning, if you're not ready to hear the truth, please turn off the dial. Because this is going to be some truth telling like maybe we've never had it before on this program. Because I'm sick and tired of people living in a world of their own creation, the fantasy of it all. So no insurance for 3 years, no valid driver's license, and you're also not covered on the insurance because of your age, if there was insurance. All right. February of 2018, Solomon Berry was contacted by court staff because the presiding magistrate wanted to know the status of the vehicle repairs before sentencing. Y'all heard what I said? Before sentencing. That means that there was a conviction on these vehicular offenses. And it says here in the story, she was found guilty at a previous hearing and instructed to repair the damaged vehicle by the court. And she ignored the court instructions. Keep listening. About continued defiance. This isn't a young lady who's just, oh, I'm just making mistakes in my life. This is a young lady who defies authority, who assaults authority. And today, she stands as the reigning Miss Cayman Islands, as an example for our young people, that you take this path in life, and this is how you will be rewarded. Even now, as you have 6 charges in court, this is how you will be rewarded. And the Miss Cayman Committee has the audacity, when we reach out to them, to say bullshit to me. I'm going to get to them this morning because they are the most egregious offenders as mature adult people, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people. And you sit back and put this young lady in this position today. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Instead of you putting on your pretty frock over the weekend, you should have been hanging your head in shame. You want to talk about you are building up these young ladies, building them up for what? On a fake platform to turn around and tear them down? Because this young lady will be convicted again in a court of law. And then what will you do? Strip her of her title and embarrass her? Make her go down in the history of the Cayman Islands as one of the few people, and maybe the only one, I don't even know, who has been stripped of the Miss Cayman title. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself this morning. This is horrible. I cannot believe it. Carol, you hold on. You don't know what you're talking about, Carol. I'm sorry to say. I'm giving a history. You just jump onto the feed. Hold your comments because you don't know what you're talking about. We are going to get there. Here comes CI Piers again, saying, oh, you're such a hypocrite to chastise Tiffany's supporters talking about principles. Where was your disgust about a nation of people without principles when the man was killed in the commission of a criminal offense of gambling? We were right here having the discussion. The question is, where were you? Where were you? Clearly, CI Piers, you were not here. Because anybody who listens to CMR knows we were here for days talking about that disgust. And CI Piers, not only have we been talking about it, we have been lobbying for legislative changes when it comes to gambling, because that man would still be alive today. So the question is, don't ask about us and, oh, we're a hypocrite. You're a friggin' hypocrite this morning because you were not here for the conversation. You want to jump in, Johnny come lately just this morning, and make accusations when you do not have your facts in order. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your facts. We were outraged. Now, the second bit, why weren't you up in arms about principles after the man was videoed drinking at a wedding, then was driving the car involved in a fatal accident? Which fatal accident are you talking about? Because if You're talking about the one that happened 2 weekends ago with Mr. Garcia. I'm going to stop you dead in your tracks and once again encourage you to get your facts. Huh? Having a drink at your daughter's wedding does not mean that you were over the limit. And for the record, he was not, and he was breathalyzed. And it does not mean that he was the cause of the accident. CI peers, this is where facts are important. And this is why I'm reviewing the facts as it relates to this young lady, so y'all have a much fuller picture. Because you know what the facts are? The facts are a Filipino young man caused, in all likelihood, we'll wait for the official report, Mr. Garcia to veer off the road, run into a tree, and kill his own friggin' wife. You have some audacity this morning to come incorrectly pointing fingers at an elderly, well-respected member of this community, and you don't have your facts in order. Step aside. You need to step aside. You, my friend, are the hypocrite. Huh? That's hypocrisy at its highest level. This man and his family, on what should have been the most joyous occasion of their lives, are now going to have to bury their mother, who was a good woman. I don't know who the frig you are, hiding behind some fake CI peers social media handle. But let me tell you, when you stand for principles and you defend right, yes, idiots like you come out and try to distract people, as I was saying earlier. It ain't going to work here this morning, folks. It's not going to work. Okay? Try again. This time, let's try to get your facts straight. So on both accounts, turns out you're completely wrong. And for the record, I understand the Filipino man has been arrested because he was actually over the limit. Yeah. When you want to come at people with arguments, at least try and get them right. Let's continue, because there's a long history. We'd be talking about this history all day and get to nothing else. So Conley refused to accept the 2 quotes provided, insisting that her friend could repair the vehicle. You see this continued defiance. This was the first case, but this will not be the last. Y'all keep listening. Somebody can tell you your 2-year-old vehicle can be fixed by their friend. They don't want to accept legitimate quotes. Magistrate Donalds then informed her that the choice of where the repairs were to be sorted was to be done by the aggrieved party and not the responsible driver, and that she had 6 weeks to complete the repairs. Well, when she reached out to Connolly, what was the response? She said, looks like you get what the duck get. This is our reading, Miss Cayman. Hold on. Because, like I said, we're all about redemption. We're going to forgive her for all this. But the history of attitude, right? From day one. No remorse, no apology, nothing. When Salima reached out to her, she said, you get what the duck get. The feistiness. Lord Jesus, take the wheel, the bus, the everything this morning. The feistiness of it. You get what the duck get? She lucky that it's Salima. Because some of you seen ones want to defend her foolishness. Huh? Would have boxed her down as she come to you talking about you get what the duck get. Make her come mash up your car's CI peers and refuse to pay it and then get feisty and tell you get what the duck get. The face might not be so pretty anymore. Yes, I'm aware that they're over at Stars trying to put a spin on it because that's what this committee does. They live in a fantasy of their own making, and I'm going to talk about the committee here in a second. So Magistrate Hernandez then gets into the picture. Another court hearing. She claimed then that she went to the wrong garage and paid down on the quote. Anyway, as usual, the court accepted this explanation with no evidence, granted her a further extension to repair the vehicle. And at this point now, Salima is beyond frustrated. And she said, I witnessed the young lady being curt to Magistrate Hernandez and wondered whether Magistrate Hernandez was going to allow this young lady to continue to mouth her and not reprimand and fine her for breaching the court order. But that's not the end of it. Another court hearing again, right? Says that she has given up. No justice via the court system. She didn't even bother to attend that one. Again, Connolly was granted additional time to pay. The parties were scheduled to go back again on August the 29th. She said in her post, she wondered if preferential treatment was being handed down by the courts because the vehicle owner is none other than the reigning Miss Cayman, Annika Connolly. She remarked and said the following. Hold on now. Somebody said my blood pressure going up this morning. Y'all not gonna worry about that. I took my tablet. Praise the Lord. She says, now it's beginning to make sense why the court and the police are dragging their feet. The epitome of it's not what you know, it's who you know. This was 4 years ago. I want you to hold on to that thought because we are coming full circle. Right? Miss Salima reached out to the Miss Cayman Islands Pageant Committee and briefly spoke to them. Here we go. CMR also reached out to them before publication of the story and have received no response at the time of publication. I want y'all to put that in your memory bank because we're coming back to it. Now, this Facebook post that Miss Salima put up has gone viral. This was at the time. Receiving multiple, we received it multiple times from different people. Overwhelming comments of support were met with a simple request. She merely wishes to have her car fixed and to have this year-long ordeal to come to an end. She said, I had hoped that we would have settled this matter prior to the pageant privately, but the chances of that were looking slim to none. Also, when the committee chairperson and I spoke initially, I made it abundantly clear then that this was not about the pageant. I just wanted someone to connect with her and to encourage her to adjust her attitude and get her priorities in order. I didn't then and still don't want to make this about the pageant. I just wanted my car fixed. To be fair, I understand that the committee was under the impression that this issue had been settled, and that's the reason for not getting back to me. I can talk about how they come to certain impressions, to use that word. But in all truth and honesty, they shouldn't have had to. This should have been between Tiffany and by extension, her mother, the courts, and myself. And in the end, all I'm trying to prevent was this carrying on, because in the event that Tiffany is crowned on Saturday, does she really want one of her first appearances as Miss Cayman Islands to be in court with me trying to settle the matter? Jesus, hallelujah, hallelujah. And here we are again. The words. Did she want her first thing as Miss Cayman to be in court? And it's like, Jesus, it's like prophetic. Here we are again, saying the exact same thing 4 years later. She will be in court soon for a trial for assault and damage to property and all sorts of stuff. 6 charges. I hope she walk in there with the crown on her head. Huh? All right, let's go on to the next one. For those of you who think that we're picking on Tiffany, by the way, we have done several other pageant-related stories on other contestants. Here was an editorial piece, it looks like. Beauty without boundaries. Contest in turmoil. I'm not going to read all of this. Go read it for yourselves. There she is. Beautiful young lady on the outside, without a doubt. Huh? This one, to quote says to change undesirable behaviors we see in the world, we must change the thinking that leads to those behaviors. And Jesus knows that this quote remains relevant today. Back in, what year was this? 2019, February 2019. That was what was being said about the pageant world here in the Cayman Islands. Again, keep it in your memory as we come full circle with the situation. Right? To change undesirable behaviors we see in the world, we must change the thinking that leads to those behaviors. Okay. Go read the editorial. It's all about, pageant girls thinking because them pretty and them cute. That's all it requires. All right. February, it's so funny that was done then. February the 18th, beauty queen arrested twice in 48 hours, sorry. Same thing yet again. This young lady was arrested after a 3-hour standoff with the police. Now, she has had, before the current case, she's had 2 cases in court. And I'm going to tell you that there's been a number that have not even made it to court. Why? Because she pretty. Right? And when you're pretty in life, folks, you get a pass. All right. A 3-hour standoff with the police where she barricaded herself in somebody else's house and somebody else's bathroom, right? Telling the police that she was even there at first. Just give me one moment, folks. She called the owner of the house and said, "Oh, I'm no longer at your house after breaking in through the third option. Front door didn't work. Front window never worked. Side window never worked. Went through the back window." Then called him and said, "Oh, I'm no longer there." Meanwhile, she was inside with the police on the outside. 3 hours. 3-hour standoff. Police time and resources. Okay. Then there was another incident where, again, she continues to assault the police. She assaulted her own sister and she assaulted her own mother. Now, people say the young lady has some mental health concerns. Okay. When the police, according to the court record, when the police arrived at the situation with the mom and the sister who were both assaulted and had bruises, and the mother said, they said, "Do you want us to call you an ambulance?" She said, "No, because I called them last night." Listen carefully. She called them the night before about another assault. So she felt bad having to call the EMT again 2 days in a row. But that one the night before, the police weren't called. So they're trying to, a young lady who has violent tendencies. And listen, she might be skinny and cute and whatever, but anyone who has been subjected to her assaults, physical assaults, will tell you she has an alter ego like that of Mike Tyson. She will beat your behind like Mike Tyson. She finds that kind of energy. Next level energy. Don't make the size fool you. Okay? So despite being injured and bruised up, the mother is so shamed, she doesn't want to call EMT again. Now, here is where sometimes the people around us are a large part of the problem. The mother says right away, when they're taking her away in custody, and she's trying to kick out the car window of the police vehicle and so on, the mother says, "Oh, I think that you're treating her too roughly now. Even the sister stepped in and said, Mommy, hush. No, they are not. They are doing their job. You see where the problem lies, folks? Show number, folks. I see somebody trying to call me. 936-2626, if you want to call in the program. So then the mother starts to twist the story. She tells him she's not going to give a statement after just having her own daughter whoop her behind. And you had to use public assistance, the police, to stop her from doing worse. And then you have the audacity to tell the police, oh, I think you're treating her a little bit rough when she's fighting the police and trying to kick out the window. The people that surround us at times can be part of the problem. They are our own worst enemy when they cannot tell you the truth. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And if your family needs to tell you, you have a drug problem, you have an anger problem, stop beating on women, stop abusing children, then your family needs to step up and tell you the truth. But this is the problem. Again, we live in a world of pretense and nobody wants to be honest. What a sad day. Politicians, same thing. They're surrounded by yes men and women. See them doing wrong. And nobody wants to tell them, sir, with all due respect, what you are doing is wrong. Stop the behavior. Don't business if you're a politician or not. You're wrong. Right? But it doesn't happen. And so when I was reading the court file, I said to myself, wow, Lord, never make me be that mother. Because y'all know I don't believe in corporal punishment. But if my daughter ever had the audacity to think it, that she could lay a finger on me after carrying her for 8 months, my no corporal punishment rule might have to go out the window that day. Because you're not going to lay a finger on me as my child and not get an appropriate response. This not going to be the day that I'm going to sit down and have a discussion about, honey, let's talk about your feelings and why you decided to box me as your mother. That could be the day you could just get a friggin' box right back. And then afterwards, we can talk about it, right? Because in the real world, I don't care how pretty you look, you go around boxing people, one of these days, somebody is going to box you the hell down. And that's a real world lesson, huh? Enablers. We're surrounded by enablers, folks. Let's fast forward to February the 19th. Again, another story. Miss Cayman's second runner-up, Tiffany Conley, assaults a carnival model. Jesus Christ. Look at the girl in the photo. Look at the head wounds. She's in the emergency room. She got assaulted. A local fresh carnival model was assaulted at Pedro Castle. So remember now, the incident with the family, they didn't do nothing. They told them, nope, they're not going to file a report. They don't want it to go to court. As usual, enablers, right? So then she turns around and assaults this young lady at a cooler fete. Someone said, and I quote here, that she got her head busted open and she had to be transported to the hospital. One eyewitness at the time said she busted open the girl's head and literally skipped her way out of the party. It's a good thing some of the coordinators held her until the police came, all while smiling like an idiot. This was eyewitnesses. This is what they're posting all over social media. Once again, it is alleged that her sister attempted to talk the police out of arresting her. The victim posted a photo of herself in the emergency room saying, had me looking fierce in the trauma room. Y'all, some real life angels. On a more serious note, I'm all right. Thank you to everyone that helped in any way. And hey, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, because that could have been her eye. It could have been a lot worse, all right, because that could have been her eye. And she could have been a young lady without a freaking eye. And I'm going to play some voice notes here in a second because some of the victims have reached out. Some of them are afraid still because they say this young lady has had the luck of Queen Elizabeth, nothing recorded in her record, and she continues to do this stuff, and they live in fear. This is now a serious situation because you have empowered someone who others are saying that they live in fear of. You've empowered her with a crown. And what does that say about the Miss Cayman Islands pageant? Wow. Place second runner-up at that time. Look here. Let me show you some of the comments, folks. Right? This is one victim that reached out over the weekend. They said, hey, Sandy, I'm the one hot on the heels of that girl. She's not the only one. Winning Miss Cayman, who I understand has a criminal record with charges still pending. If your next live have discussions about it, can you please ring me? I have WhatsApp. My number is, it's usually around 1 a.m. here when you start. So I'll usually fall asleep by then. I will try to ring back as a caller. If you can't do this, then get me over here. Please ring. So we're gonna give that caller a ring this morning. She's not the only victim that reached out. This one reached out, but she said that she is so afraid. She says, sorry for the late response. Unfortunately, I believe she can still cause or try to cause further damage for me. I took her to court for my incident and she walked away not guilty. Well, that's not, we're going to clarify exactly what she walked away with because that's actually not true. But this is the impression that the victims have of what has transpired. So by extension, they are so afraid. She says, I can only hope now with witnesses involved for this, father and son, the court will do what it's been supposed to do. That's now talking about the current case. This is someone who reached out. Hi, Miss Sandra. My name is so-and-so. If you would like a statement about how crazy, violent, and unhinged Tiffany Miss Cayman is, I'm willing to be named. I've removed his name, and I'm going to tell you guys why in a second, because that case is still ongoing. So despite his offer to be named and to come forward, I think it's in the best interest of the court proceedings that he not do so. Let's reserve the integrity of something around here. And in this case, it will be the court proceedings, right? So these are the victims who are reaching out. So let's listen to the voice note. Hold on now. Let me see which one this first one is. Let me see. This person sent a voice note this morning. So let's just see if we can find this one. This is one of the victims, right? All right, let's listen to this message. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm not hearing it. Hold on. Let me see if I need to extract this. Give me one quick second here. Right. I might have to play this one on the phone. Let's see the quickest way to do it.
Good morning. Allow me to start off by saying that I'm an extreme advocate for mental health and women empowerment. I don't believe in putting people down and making them feel less of themselves. And that's not what I'm about to do. What I'm about to do is speak my truth. The results of the 2022 Miss Universe pageant broke my heart. I'm one of Tiffany's many victims, and I have watched her fabricate lies and masks to hide behind for too long. I'm not okay with having our young generation of women, and even the current generation, think that it's okay to push everything under the rug and walk around as if nothing has ever happened. She's chosen to be vocal about certain parts of her journey, and that's brave of her. But what about the parts she's not vocal about? What about the people that she lied to? What about the people that know what she did? She's yet to have the courage to admit that out of pure hatred, she attacked me. I went about it the right way. I had all my evidence, hospital bills, photos. People saw her. Yet, I don't blame her for the outcome of the case. It was a whole year later, and frankly, I was done thinking about it. She walked away not guilty, with the knowledge that what she did to me, and she felt no remorse about it. I had a phone call a few days later after the incident from the committee. My honest words to them were, she's not someone I would ever want my little sister or cousin to look up to. I'm not here to put Tiffany down, but I am here to speak out for the unjust. In my opinion, which no one else has to believe, could she have been a great Miss Cayman Islands universe? She absolutely could. However, putting people with mental health issues in positions such as that don't help them. The committee has set her up, and it's appalling, and they continue to allow her to paint over reality. I wish nothing but healthy growth and spiritual awakening, and I hope at the end of it all, Tiffany can be honest with herself and with others. Like I say, this is not me hating anyone. This is me who was attacked, never apologized to, was scared for a few months after that. It's not fair. It's not fair. And I don't think it would be fair for me to say that the other contestants deserved it. They did. But that's not for me to say necessarily. Everyone, I think, did a good job. And it's just unfortunate that she was allowed to run in the first place with an active court case open. I'm pretty sure none of the other contestants had active court cases, especially for assaulting police. But I honestly think it's a case of just mental health. And she's done a very good job at making sure she's worked at the right places so that people don't suspect that anymore. Or she's grown in all of these different areas, but she's grown and she's done these things, but at the end of the day, there's still people who you affected in your past life that are looking at you do all of these things, and it's just like, okay, here's another mask for you to hide behind. Here's another lie that you're telling society. It hurts. It hurts. You know, I couldn't even get a proper restraining order. I was told that, you know, it was a year later. It doesn't matter anymore, in a sense. And that's terrifying for me. Because if anyone knows who I am, they know that I'm not a violent person. I never choose violence, ever, 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 ever. And it just hurts me that somebody would stoop down to that level and want to physically hurt me when I have presented no physical harm to you. Why do you feel like that's okay? It's not okay. Anyways, I hope everyone has a good day. And I'm sorry for any feelings that this may have hurt, any feelings that I don't even know. Because I have to tread lightly. But at the same time, I don't have to stand for injustice. So.
Wow. A victim saying that she is sorry when she has never received an apology herself for being physically assaulted. Was so afraid for her own life, she tried to get a restraining order. It's a sad day in the Cayman Islands. And meanwhile, somebody just sent me a photo here, which I had to chuckle at. They said, oh, Miss Cayman is over on Stars with the chairman of the committee, taking photos and pretending that all is right in the world today. That's okay. They can pretend all they want. But the reality is, you can put on all the makeup in the world. You can wear all the fancy clothes and jewelry and crowns on your head. But Lord knows, if the inside ain't right, none of that will matter. Caller, are you trying to get on the program this morning?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you need to call the correct number, which is 936-2626.
936-2626.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, there. This is Cayman for you. Look good and go on the radio. While your victims are sending CMR voice notes this morning, afraid to even say who they are because they say the repercussions are still there for them. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Because they say the repercussions.
You gotta turn down the background audio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Yes, you're on air. Just turn down the background audio for me.
I do. All right. Done.
Okay. How can we help?
Okay. I have to say, first and foremost, I'm sure people probably recognize my voice, but that being said, I'm an expatriate. I'm not a Canadian. However, I've spent almost half my life here. I've been here 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, the last lady who just spoke, that was very profound and impactful speech. I have to say, honestly, I feel for her. One of the things that I don't understand is why this is even an issue. Why are we even talking about this today? Like, how in the world was this girl able to even qualify to be a contestant if she had all these charges and things against her? How in the world is she going to, you want this person representing your islands? Cayman is trying to put themselves on the map. You're small enough as you are, but you know what? You're trying to put yourselves on the map. And I don't understand how this would not be an issue if you had credentials where you're asking people to, okay, you want to qualify for Miss Cayman? Yep, you have to be Canadian. Yep, you have to have heritage. Yep, you have to have history and whatever. Oh, you have charges against you? Oh, that's okay. We'll still accept you? I don't get it.
Well, so far we've only talked about the past. Well, we're gonna talk about some of the other stuff, but we want to talk about the current charges. So maybe that will help answer some of your questions. A lot of people have the same questions as you, caller. They don't understand the logic that the committee used, except that they're delusional, and they somehow thought either that she wasn't going to win, which I think is stupid. She had a very, very good chance of winning, especially since this is her second time in the competition. And they just thought they'd run over to Star 92.7 and cover it up this morning and have an interview. And then they'll run over to Compass Media and do a couple on-air interviews. And the rest of you will just be fooled by the pomp and circumstance of it all. I guess that's what they're thinking. I don't know.
Okay, so now she has pending charges. So what happens? The lawyer goes before the court and says, "Oh well, she's Miss Cayman and she's going to represent the island, so therefore she has to travel and you have to forfeit the charges."
There are some real concerns that her winning this title, and I'm glad you brought it up, has the potential to now interfere with the court process as well. The victims
Absolutely.
are very, very concerned about it.
Absolutely, and that's injustice. I'm sorry. I'm like, and you know what? I can say this because I'm an expat. I don't belong here. This is my home, but I love you guys, and I know that a lot of people are scared to say a lot of what I'm thinking. But I'm telling you, I'm like, there has been other people in politics that we are very much aware of that have hit women, that have abused the system. And is this the representation that you want for your islands at Miss Universe? Like, I don't understand how she was even able to qualify. You can't even get a job on this island if you have a criminal record. And yet you're able to run for Miss Cayman? Ross.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ross,
I know a lot of Caymanians. I talked to a lot of my Caymanian friends last night, and they said to me, they're like, "Oh, don't you dare!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am. Yes, I am." Because you know what? Enough is enough, guys. Like, honestly, this is representing your country in Miss Universe, and I'm like, and this wouldn't even be fruition right now if you put all the boxes and you took the boxes and you just said, you know what, yeah, you shouldn't have any type of offenses against you or whatever to qualify to even run. But I'm not saying, you know what, don't get me wrong, she's beautiful, she's very educated, you know what, yeah, she probably she's entitled to the award. But the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, she still has charges pending. So now we're going before the courts, and the courts are going to say, "Oh, well, you know what? She's representing her country, so we're going to pass them off." That's not justice, guys. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. It's wrong. Mm-hmm. And I can say that, you know what? Yeah. Kick me off your island. That's fine. I'm like, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm saying a lot of stuff that the Canadian people are scared to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay to say it.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. All right, folks. She's saying a lot. Said a lot this morning. Cameron says this has to be a distraction for something happening behind the scenes. The committee must have known this would be a scandal. Of course. Listen, when we discussed it the last time, the whole point was this has got to be avoided. A blind man in the Saharan dust of Africa would have seen this coming. How did the committee not see it coming? How? I don't know. Because we discussed it. Let's go back in time. What was it? What was the date on this live stream that we did? This was July the 20th. We said, do y'all not see how you are setting this girl up? Roberta says the lady speaks facts. Kimmy says what this lady is saying is true to that caller. CE Bank says from all accounts, a chairperson wants to be Miss Universe. Sabrina says this is crazy. It is. It's illogical. And the committee stands as, like I said, big people. Tiffany is an immature 20-something-year-old, right? Yes, she's responsible for her behavior, but she doesn't have the wealth of experience and foresight that the committee members who are guiding her have. And they're guiding this young girl down a path of utter destruction. And they're setting her up for someone who probably does have some serious mental health issues, by the way. I'm not a professional, but if I had to diagnose anything, I'd say she's bipolar. Because that explains the rage and the ability to physically do even some of what she does. That's typical bipolar. And mental health is a serious thing. And like the victim said, it's good that she can talk about some of her journey and she's on a mental health platform. But if you can't be honest about the number of people that you've hurt, assaulting a police is a very serious thing. And she has done that multiple times. So let's talk about her criminal history. Two cases have gone to court. The one with the 3-hour standoff with the police. The next one with another individual. She seems to take rejection very hard. When she's rejected, and some people jokingly said, well, maybe the committee knew not to make her lose yesterday because all hell would have broke loose in the pageant. But when she's rejected, she acts out in this way. So on 2 separate occasions, the court has decided to allow nothing to be recorded. But I want y'all to be very clear from a legal perspective what this means. So I reached out to a lawyer this morning and I said, explain it. Like, I know in my head, but sometimes it's hard to explain. Like, I get a legal term and I understand it, but it's hard to explain it. So I wanted a qualified attorney at law, a real professional criminal lawyer, 20 plus years of experience to break it down. This is what she says. So I said, explain. No conviction recorded. I need to break it down this morning. This is what she said. She says that it means that even though you have entered a guilty plea or have been found guilty of an offense, no conviction will be recorded against you, so it will not appear on your antecedent history or criminal record. So let us be very clear, folks. She has been found guilty on 2 previous occasions. Okay? So for those of you who say, oh, she's still able to get a clean police record, understand how this concept of no conviction recorded works. Now, on July the 20th, I sat here before you and said, it is so unusual. I have never heard of a person having, they said, lightning striking you twice. I've never heard of this kind of luck where you get it not once, but twice. Normally, the court will do a no conviction recorded as a first time, like, okay, you made a mistake. We've never seen you in court before. Get your shit together. We're going to give you, just go away and get it together. They have the discretion. Sometimes they do it because they're trying to right a wrong, really. So take, for example, the situation with Mr. Mike Adams and his family. The magistrate could see that these are not people who are going around randomly assaulting their neighbors, right? They're having to defend themselves against a crazy neighbor. So she didn't think that it was fair in the circumstances to impede their record, which impacts their employment opportunity. So she's like, no conviction recorded. The court is still finding you guilty. Caller, good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
You're on air, caller.
Okay. Hi. I'm sorry. I just have to chime in again. I'm the earlier caller. I just have to say, and I'm seeing people's remarks, and I do have to say, you know what? We can't rake this girl over the coals for, what she's done and what she's done in the past, or, she's trying to better herself, and that's all great. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it's not her accountability. I think it's the country's accountability. I'm like, you guys have selected and allowed this person to not only participate, but qualify to even be a participant, to be Miss Cayman, to represent your country across the entire world. I've been on this island for 22 years, and I'm telling you, I have seen how much that, this island is trying to put yourselves on the map, and tourism and everything else like that. And yes, we all know that you've had hardships in the past, and unfortunately, I'm not mentioning names, but people that have had abuse against women and charges with casinos and whatever. Anyway, I'm going off. What I'm saying is that, you cannot give this girl a hard time for winning. the fact of the matter is that you allowed her to win. You actually allowed her to participate. If someone has assault charges and someone has this type of background, how does she even qualify? And you're going to have her represent your country. So, like Sandra said earlier, I have to say, you know, as an expat, I could never be on this island or ever get a job if I had a criminal record. And yet this person is allowed to represent your country. I don't get it. So, you know what, at the end of the day, kudos to her. Like I said, you know what, well deserved. She's well educated. She's very beautiful and everything. So everyone's blaming her. Don't blame her. You know what? Don't blame the player, blame the game. Because I'm telling you guys, you are the ones who allowed her to participate. Don't give her shit for winning.
Well, it's the committee. I mean, absolutely. That's what we're saying. Yeah. We're saying the committee has the bulk of this blame to carry. I could not agree more.
Yeah. No, it's just, it's crazy. And you know what? And everyone's like gonna rake her over the coals. And God, I hope it doesn't end up like Miss Congeniality. Like if this girl is as bad as they say, and if she's as, you know, rough as it comes, I'm like, I hope she doesn't poison the contestants. But I'm just saying, I'm like, you know, it could get ugly. But I'm just saying, you know, again, at the end of the day, you know, she participated just like all the other contestants, and she won. In her fair right, and good for her for winning. But you know what? They allowed her to participate. So you know what? Don't blame the player, blame the game. That's all I have to say.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Well, the game is rigged. The game sucks. I can tell you that. 936-2626 is the phone number for you to call in if you'd like to express your thoughts. We have a number of people who are sending stuff through on social media as well. So we do have another victim who wanted to call in, but she's in a different time zone. So I'm not sure. I think it's early morning hours for her. So we'll see if we're able to actually get through to her this morning. We'll do our best. And let's see what we can do here this morning. I was just mindful of the time, and I said, let me not wait till it's 3 o'clock her time to try and call her. 3 o'clock in the morning, that is. So let's see. So, in the meantime, all right, so she's probably snuggled in bed sleeping. At any rate, she says again that, you know, she has been a victim. This is another young lady. And, you know, I mean, she wanted to share her story, but unfortunately, I think because of time difference, she must be snoozing at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, folks, let's talk about, I'm going to read some of your comments here as well this morning. Ms. Carol, thank you. She says, there's no one with guts to make this happen. So just like everything else, no one will be held accountable. I think the entire committee needs to be disbanded. And I don't say that lightly. Like I said, I know a lot of these people, and I do understand how hard they work, but they have missed the mark on more than one occasion. And this really takes the cake. Because if they had made the decision, and this is where now as a mature adult, right? A young lady comes to you and she says, oh, I'm reformed, I've changed, right? The only thing they say is, do you have a clean police record? So let's wrap up what we were saying about the no conviction recorded. Section 41 of the Penal Code says that this section is called the discharge of offense without punishment. And it gives the court an alternative way to deal with a case without recording a conviction against the accused, should it see fit. It says that when an offense has been proved, e.g. when a plea of guilty is entered, but the court feels that it would be expedient, to inflict any punishment, it may, without proceeding to conviction, discharge the accused either absolutely or, if the court thinks fit, discharge the accused subject to the condition that he commits no offense for a period of up to 3 years. So she has had the good fortune of having that happen not once, but twice, which, like I said, I've not heard of. But the court did it, right? Now she's 3 times up, 3 times at the rodeo. I believe that she's under the delusional, I don't know what lawyer she's got, impression that lightning is going to strike 3 times and that she's going to have another no conviction recorded on her record. And so she will continue to be able to tell someone that she has no conviction recorded so she can get a clean police record and she'll be able to travel overseas, etc. I think the chances of that happening now are less than I think the caller might be trying to get into us, or less than they were obviously the first and second time, right? At some point, the court is going to hold people accountable. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Is this CMR?
Yes, hi, this is Sandra on the Cold Hard Truth in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, this is Tracy from New Zealand.
Yes, we wanted to speak with you. Well, you wanted to speak with us. I know we're calling you pretty early in the morning. So you are live on air at the moment. So feel free to, tell us whatever you wanted to share.
I'm just really concerned about the lady that's won Miss Cayman with a criminal record.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only speculation is you can't have a child or be married, and that's now changed. But I don't think that somebody with a criminal record is going to be a good representation for Cayman Islands.
Yes. Do you have any experience? Do you have any experience yourself with this young lady, or is this just sort of a general opinion that you're sharing?
Oh no, I don't even know who she is.
Right.
But I used to live in the Cayman Islands,
mm-hmm.
and I keep a good watch on what's happening there. And this girl's going to have trouble getting a visa to go to other countries, let alone when she goes to represent Cayman Islands. When her question gets asked, what do you want to save the world? She's going to say, I want to get my criminal record changed.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the kind of person that the Cayman Islands wants to go and represent them in a competition like this?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's definitely the $1 million question.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, it's not just charges of petty theft or anything, it's assault charges, and assault charges against police, damaging other people's property. What happens if she gets in a bad mood when she's over sitting in a motel or something, waiting to go to Miss Universe, and something happens and she decides to smash everybody over?
Right. Well, I hope to God the pageant isn't in Russia, because they just sentenced the young lady to 9 years for having 2 vials of CBD oil. So she goes over there and wherever it is and frigs around, she might see some serious jail time. It's no joke.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, caller.
So what? Okay.
All right, my dear.
I'll keep up. I'll keep following.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, these are the questions that people are certainly asking. So the current case in court, right? Again, let me just remind you all what this is. So she was dating a young man, and most of these things are around rejection. She doesn't seem to be able to take rejection very well. And so we have a young man who was dating her for all of 3 months. Whatever happened, the relationship ended. And she calls him or texts him and says, I'm coming over right now. You better come outside or else. And he was like, no. So she shows up to the front door, starts banging on the front door. The father answers the door because he didn't want to break the door, like literally glass in the door, didn't want the door to get broken. So he comes out. He's like, what's going on? She immediately starts to attack the father. Punches him, scratches him up, hits him, breaks his glasses, the works. The son hears the scuffle, right? And he's like, oh my God, my dad is being attacked. I need to go out there and help my dad. So he goes out there trying to get his dad away from this girl. Then he gets assaulted. This is a young lady who takes a bicycle throws it on the windshield of a vehicle, breaks the windshield, goes to the second car, breaks that car. She's gone in a vehicle before, taken out a machete, gone at people with the machete. I mean, when her supporters say, "Oh, but Sandy, you're not perfect. What about your history?" I'm like, damn, I've never pulled a machete on anybody. I've never gotten violent, physically violent people. I might curse you out. I might text you a few words. I might make the texting go overboard and you say, okay, stop texting me or I'm going to call the police because now that's harassment. Stop being enablers with your foolishness. So now I'm telling you, these people are so afraid they even call the neighbor. When the police finally come and arrest her, once again, trying to kick out the police window, just totally loses it. And they say to her, "Miss, you need to calm down because you're only going to add additional charges." And you know what she does? When she gets to the detention center, she balks the police officer not once, but twice. So she is now facing 6 charges. Let me see if I can show you guys a little screenshot of what they include. It's kind of difficult to see them. But common assault twice, damage to property twice, and disorderly conduct in a police station and assaulting a police officer. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program. Oh, sorry. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. Wagwan.
My dear. What happened?
All right, may I hear the little thing with the pageant sitting there?
Yeah.
But Sandra, why I don't think people should sit on that right now. The cost of living in Cayman is we're supposed to talk about that instead of this little girl within this pageant.
But hold on a second, caller. Hold on a second. We talk about the cost of living all the time. That's not being ignored because we're talking about this situation. So you would feel good. You're Jamaican, right? You guys have had some of the most beautiful women. You guys have had some of the most beautiful women rank very, very high and represent your country. You would feel okay if this young lady was Miss Jamaica, showing this history of violence and has an active court case?
Miss Sandra, everybody do make mistakes. Everybody, but them two, who is perfect? Tell me, who is perfect? Who is perfect, Miss Sandra?
No. Hold on. Is it a mistake when you keep? No. Hold on. What's a mistake? What is a mistake?
No, everybody but them two.
No.
Single soul.
Yes, but when you keep doing something, when you get a buck toe once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, at what point?
So much time to disrespect police officer.
But you're not listening to the program or what? This is the 3rd time that it has gone, separate things have gone to court, and every time the police get boxed down. Yes. There are multiple victims. Imagine if your son, you have any boys?
Yeah, my son.
Imagine if a woman show up to your house and break into your house, take machete out of your car, come in to chop your son, and end up in a 3-hour standoff in your house. How would you feel? Would you be like, oh, let's not talk about that this morning? Imagine she come and bang down your front door and you answer the door, don't even know what's going on with your little son and who he dealing with. And all of a sudden, she box you, break your glasses, and start scratching and fighting you. Would you be saying the same thing this morning?
Miss Sandra, to my understanding.
No.
Answer the accident alone. She did. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know she do. Because if she come back to my boy and come back to me, no, it never work.
All right. So if it naga work for you, how can it work for all these other people that she's done it to?
But Miss Sandra, she don't win it already. What we can do?
No, it's in court right now. The matter was to go to trial a week and a half ago, and it got postponed. This isn't. Listen, caller. Listen, caller. Like I said this morning, I believe in redemption. I'm not saying that anybody is perfect, But in order for you to redeem yourself, at some point, you have got to recognize, number one, that you have a problem. Number one, you need to adjust your behavior, right? And you need to demonstrate that. You need to apologize to the people that you have been assaulting. Did you hear the voice note from the young lady who's a victim this morning? She said she did not get so much as an apology. People have had their face cut by this young lady, very close to the eye. No, man. Listen.
That's one thing she did.
No, you have to listen to the program. You have to listen. You understand? You know, listen, I'm a fair person, and I believe in people coming back. And like you say, we've all who has fallen, but for the grace of God, I believe it. But there is a point of no return. Wow. Anybody come to my front door and box me, we're going to box you back. Straight talk now. You understand? Yes, and then I'm gonna call the police and tell them to come and deal with you. And when the police come and deal with her, the girl goes on the most. She boxed police at the detention center not once but twice. Okay. Lord have mercy. What the backside are going? You understand? I'm not. Yeah, man. Keep listening. Keep listening.
Find the link and
all right.
And listen more.
Yeah, man.
Bless up yourself.
All right, cool.
All right.
Darlene says, cut that call away, Sam. People, you have to listen. You can't just jump on and be like, I want to talk about that this morning. What? Have you heard? Stacey says, exactly. Check Oliver, Jamaican, Miss Jamaica that represents our country. Not even in Jamaica have I heard such scandal. Andrea says, no criminal can be Miss Jamaica. The vetting process is rigorous. Claudette says, leave the line, lady, and think before you talk. She obviously was not listening. Y'all have to listen, and you have to pay attention. Right? Because you would not like to be subjected to these things. When I tell you that these victims are legitimately afraid, I've spoken to some of them, and they said, Sandy, it's only a matter of time before this woman kills somebody. And I mean, that is a serious statement for a victim to make. They have had to go and install security cameras at their homes, beef up security because they are afraid that she will be back. Tracy says she won't even get a visa to go to another country. And this is the problem. Because the court has decided to record no conviction, she can travel. And I want to talk about the committee here now, right? We believe in redemption, and the committee, I've spoken to some of the committee members, they're like, oh, but at what point, she's a changed person. I've seen the change in her. Well, clearly they're no experts, and they need to do a better process of this rigorous vetting that somebody just mentioned. Their vetting process is obviously deplorable. They not doing a very good job, none at all. So, folks, they claim they didn't know that she had a current court matter. All right, let's say we believe them. And they didn't find out till June when people started sending the court list and this and that. That means that they don't even have the capacity as committee members to use Google. Y'all heard of Google? Google.com, Sir Google. All you do is type in somebody's name and it will come up. Type in whatever name, judicial, Cayman. Sometimes the links don't work because I think it's just a space thing. The court takes down the list and whatever. But they could have gone to the court office, requested the file. These things are open court, Nothing you can do in a court of law in the Cayman Islands, with very few exceptions, is going to be hidden. By the way, not for nothing, but I've never seen where any of her matters showed up in mental health court. That's interesting, given the fact that we want to say that she has mental health issues. Now, I stand to be corrected on this, but from my review of the file, I did not see any mention of mental health court. Because one of the ways in which they protect people who have mental health issues is they put them in mental health court to deal with their criminal behavior, because they're still going to be held accountable, you know. You might have mental health issues, but having mental health issues doesn't mean you can go and shoot up a school and then I can put you behind in jail. That's not how it works. That's not an excuse. That might be some information to help explain some of your behavior, but you will still be held accountable for said behavior. Morning caller. Oh, sorry. One second, caller. Morning. Hi, caller.
Okay, so let's all just be human here. First of all, you have to think about this girl. So yes, she may have issues. Yes, she's done wrong. Yes, she may be trying to better herself. Great. All those things are great. I don't think that it's good for us to be, you know, either via social media or talking on the radio of raking this girl over the coals. The thing is that she is in this situation because of the fact, and no one, and Sandy, you know what, you're very educated and, you know, a great speaker, but at the end of the day, she is not responsible for this. The people who allowed her to qualify are responsible for this situation. This is why we're talking today. This has nothing to do with the girl who was selected, whether she has mental health issues, whether she could do this again, or her victims. This has nothing to do with that. None of us would be talking today if she didn't qualify. I think personally, as Miss Universe, if you're representing your country to the whole wide world, I don't think that you should have a criminal record.
Well, let me be
pending criminal record.
Let me be very clear.
This poor girl.
Let me
Sandy,
let me be very clear.
Think about your daughter. Think about your daughter. If your daughter made a poor choice, and you know what? Unfortunately, if she did, and you're not in control of that, and she ends up winning Miss Universe. No.
Tracy. Let me stop you right there. I'm going to answer your question.
Humanize ourselves.
I'm going to answer.
Is probably listening to this radio station.
Let me stop you right there, because I'm going to answer your question, because this is exactly the problem that we have in this community, why nothing changes. Because we raise children. No. I agree with you 1,000%. And I've said it more than once this morning. That the committee is the one who holds the ultimate blame. But she has to take responsibility for what she has done. I want you to come off the line and go look at the live feed, because I'm going to show you something here in a second.
No, I totally agree
with
you.
I'm gonna answer your question, and then I want to show you some stuff, okay?
Okay.
Because without a doubt, the committee, that's why I said already, they should be disbanded. I'm not mincing my words. They have failed her. And they have set her up, and they have set up the people of the Cayman Islands. Do you all think that it was a coincidence that their question was about, the impact of social media? They knew this was coming, and they were trying to cover their asses to make it look like they give a damn. Let me be very, very frank here this morning. I'm disappointed in every single one of them, and some of them, I count them as my friends, and I remain disappointed. Because they set this up. Let's throw in a question about social media and the negatives and the positive, because they knew if this girl won, the firestorm that was going to ensue, as it has, because they do have a little bit of common sense. Other things might be lacking, but they could see it coming. It was foreseen. So yes, Tracy, and if this was my daughter, heaven forbid, but boy, they say, never say never, because the good Lord will challenge you. And I don't know, my daughter's only 6 years old. I don't know what challenges in life she will face, but I tell you what, as a mother, I will be there for her, but I will not allow her. I'm not going to be the enabler. I'm not going to allow her to get a pass, just like I don't even at the age of 6. You do something wrong, you're going to be in punishment. And I don't care how cute you are. This reminds me of my friend Amanda. Oh, Jesus Christ. When Amanda used to come and visit Tampa, she used to get away with the most. And Aunt Lottie and Miss Margaret would sit there and let Amanda get away with the most. And you know what Amanda's life has ended up to be? on drugs and all sorts of stuff. When you cannot hold people accountable. Meanwhile, poor me, yes, I was up to shenanigans, but boy, I was getting my ass whooped. My aunt was like, you gotta stay in line. You're gonna be held accountable. There are consequences, Sandra. And I was like, oh, damn, really? Life comes with consequences? Yes, it does. If this was my daughter, she would have never competed in this competition. Other people around her need to protect her. When she went to Miss Cayman and when they became aware of the charges, they should have said, honey, we know that you're trying to change your life. And we're all in agreement with that. However, it hasn't happened yet. You have current cases in court that are ongoing, 6 charges, assaulting people, assaulting the police, you box the police. You need time. This is what they should have done. As elders and more mature people, they should have said to her as nicely as possible, you cannot compete in this competition. Because the potential fallout, if you won and you still have time because of your age, keep it together, go at least 1 year of your life without any charges. These are fresh charges, 2022. And they're sitting down telling me, oh, she's changed. You know what else they said to me? Well, the girls with the most drama always place the highest on the international front. What the say what? This is Miss Cayman. This is how this committee thinks. That drama is good. And y'all talking about, oh, we're raking her over the coals. You can thank the committee for that. Don't thank us for discussing what should be discussed in this country. Thank the committee for it. They have put this young lady in an unbelievable position. Like I said, when she gets convicted, then what? Who's going to break it to her? Derry Lee is going to go to this woman and said, oh, we're sorry. Now that you're convicted, we have to strip your tie. She should kick Derry Lee's behind. She needs to get one of those kung fu moments on Derry Lee when that happens. Because yes, they put her in this situation and it should have never happened. Y'all saw my post on Facebook over the weekend where I talked about how this committee is so disconnected from reality, right? Huh? They are so disconnected that they actually put one of the judges who is a convicted woman beater to sit there and judge these young ladies. Jesus, listen, take the wheel, take the whole bus. They don't even know who is who in this community. The committee should be more connected than this. Oh, pretty face. That's what it's all about. He looks good. They're not business with nothing else. You don't vet the contestants properly, and you're not vetting anybody else, including the judges. This is disgusting. It just, I shake my head in complete disbelief. What on earth? How did this happen? How did we get here? Morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, Sunday.
What a mess.
I don't want to get no scuffle with you this morning, right? You say you got your points, and I hear you clearly, right? I can just add something to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just said, and I don't know lawyer or anything, but just based on the common sense of what you say is, you're saying no conviction was given against her, right?
Yeah.
The young lady.
So she pleads guilty or she's found guilty. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know, I understand that, but the thing is, no conviction was given against her on record. So legally, she could qualify.
Well, we're not even.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Right?
No. But because we're not even talking about those. Yeah. No, absolutely. And we're not even talking about her history. That whole long history was just to give people a full picture. But why would they allow you to qualify when you have pending charges that are likely to result in a conviction for the third time?
Well, that is something going forward now, because maybe that isn't part of part of the now existing requirements that she would have had to tell them. But I got a pending situation here in court, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lead out there too. That whether they dropped the ball or that wasn't part of a requirement, right? Okay. And the thing is, we're saying the committee, but it's the Cayman Islands government, and they're the ones that own the franchise too for that.
Well, let me say this, because I got a phone call yesterday when I was still in Miami, and a young lady said to me, "Oh, they're saying that Minister Bryan is the reason why she's in competition. That he told them must keep her in." Now, I don't know if that is true or not, because I've not heard that before, but I'm inclined to believe that actually isn't true. Because I can tell you, Minister Bryan is not going to interfere at the committee level. And it's so funny because when I spoke to the committee members, none of them ever said that before. You know what they were saying to me? "Oh, but wait a minute. Minister Bryan was convicted when he was a minister of offenses." And I was like, no, he wasn't. So they themselves rely on misinformation. And this again goes to the wealth of knowledge or lack thereof of the committee. They're trying to throw the minister under the bus, talking about, well, he believes in redemption because, he was convicted as a minister. I'm like, hello. When Minister Bryan was convicted, he was not even an elected official. And he also had no recorded thing on his record. So I'm just like, he wasn't an elected official then. And had he ran with that holding over his head, the voters of Georgetown had every right to consider it as something that, do we want to vote for someone who has a pending court case? That would be entirely fair and public and up to open public discourse.
Yeah, I mean the committee does has some of the blame. No,
they have the majority. They have the majority of the blame.
Well, okay, yeah, right. But I mean the situation is Tiffany isn't the blame. And if they try anyhow now, this is what I would say. If they try in any way now to take away her title or deny her anything, she could sue him.
Not if she's
she lied.
No, but no. Hold on now. If she is convicted,
she qualified.
No, no. We understand that it's too late right now. But if she's convicted now during her reign, they can strip her of her title, and they'd be right to do so.
Right.
But they have created this situation.
That's a different situation.
Yeah, somebody just said.
People are trying to say like, well, they should deny her all the privileges at this point before she's even convicted. And
no.
Because if they deny her and she doesn't have anything to do with the court, and the court sets her free.
Yeah,
they can't deny her.
I think what people are saying is that the vetting process needs to be tightened. You should not have an active court case and be able to enter. Now that she's won, apparently Derry's all over social media saying that, she supports her. They better support her because they put her in this situation.
Yeah.
And they better get her therapist on the line and get her some mental help today because,
she won on her own credit. So let's give the young lady that due. She won on her own credit. We're not talking about her character now when something is different, and I'm of the opinion that everybody could change, everybody make a mistake in life.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
and caller, can I just say that our
people wrong.
Can I just say that this term mistake, I wish we'd stop using it when it's deliberate behavior. Because these are not mistakes. We're just making poor choices. And we're all open to making poor choices. That makes us human. But come on now, it's not a mistake. 6-7 times later is definitely not a mistake.
Yeah, right. But still, whatever the situation is,
yes.
is the help should be given to her and offered to her. But the young lady
for sure.
All
right, we got another caller. Okay, appreciate it. You too, dear. All right, caller, and I want to talk about something he just said too. Morning, caller. How are you?
Morning. I was not intending to call, but as you talk more and more, this case becomes more and more involved, and I really wouldn't like to be sitting in your chair this morning.
No, because I hope people understand how this pains me, because the first thing I always think about is what if this was my daughter? You know what I'm saying?
But she's
This
as a Caymanian, I look at this as she is our daughter.
Yes, and someone
She
even
is
said to
our
me,
daughter, our sister, our
that's
cousin.
right. Someone said to me yesterday, "Oh, you know, she family to you," and I
And-
said, "Well, I don't know that, but if you say so," and I said, "But what does that have to do with the price of rice in China?" I said, I hold my own family members accountable right here on this show all the time. And this breaks my heart to be talking about this.
Of course.
And that's why I say the committee members who are supposed to be wise and whatever, they're the ones setting this girl up, and they continue to do so. I hear they all over social media this morning posting about how they support her, about good for them. Because when the shit hit the fan and she's convicted,
somebody should support her, but we should support her all the time.
And we should support her in truth.
And I'm not one hiding behind mental health, because I believe we all have mental health issues in Cayman. As a woman talk about, if it none more than about the cost of living. We all have mental health issues, but we can't just support her because now she has won. We needed to support her a long time ago, ages ago, when the behavior first became public and so on and so forth. And imagine, you know, your mother got a call police. That mother didn't want to call no police on her daughter. She didn't. But
imagine the fact that she had to do it in order to save herself from being assaulted further for second day in a row.
This is not an easy conversation.
It isn't. And I want to show you all the pictures, right? Let me show you now, Miss Charlene. I know you're not on social media, but let me show y'all one of the victims. This is this young lady bloodied, with blood running down. This is also somebody's child, to be fair, right? So yes, we're all somebody's child, and we all have children. Well, some of us have children. But if this was your daughter, now look at this picture online, right? If this was your daughter, bloodied and bruised in the way that this young lady is, blood running down her legs, her shirt, you know, a cut right above her eye. Like I said, had that gone into her eye, this could have been a very different conversation. This young lady could have been without vision in her eye.
It's not an easy conversation to have, but somebody's brave enough to have it. I believe in the interests of the society.
Yes.
And people calling and talking, but we shouldn't have this conversation. Let's talk about the price of rice in China. If you don't like the price of rice in China, you just leave jurisdiction.
Exactly. Now people saying, what? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. You see, a picture is worth a million words.
This is a beautiful girl, because Cayman ain't gonna ugly people, excepting maybe me and one or two other people that I know. But Cayman not gonna ugly people. So she's beautiful to begin with.
Wow.
I mean, if the young lady is in trouble, in crisis, it may be rough to talk about it in this way, yes, but let us look for something
and let me
come of this conversation, which needs to be had.
Thank you, Carla.
This conversation needs to be had.
Yes, thank you.
And the board, you know, you might scratch them up a bit, but you know, they're supposed to be people that have thick skin, fall down, get up, and come out swinging again.
Yes.
But be advised to be wiser. This is not an easy conversation. And people, if they can't add anything to it, they should try come off the foolishness parade, because that's all it is. It's a difficult conversation to have. We are Caymanians. We at least, I believe that every Caymanian this morning has an interest in this story. And if they don't have to run to the hills and hide.
And look at
different kind of interest in the story.
Yes, and look at the requirements, right? This is the requirements. In addition to completing the registration form, please submit the following. Only 5 things required: a swimsuit photo, full face photo, copy of your high school diploma, police record, proof of being a Caymanian through status or letter of acknowledgement. That's how simple our requirements are. No morality clause, right? So someone says the committee is to be blamed, and the root
got one for the big guys, so we will finally we might get one with this conversation.
Wow,
for the young ladies, and they will know I have aspirations for. Maybe I shouldn't go this far.
Thank you.
This is a difficult conversation to have, and people should know you don't want to roll people under the bus, but life is real too.
Carla, leave me there.
And you don't want to walk away with deeper things and more more extreme charges.
Exactly.
Thank you very much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, my dear. So this person says the committee is to be blamed and the root cause of this controversy today, but in actuality, they can't dethrone her until she's found guilty. And that's on her record. If they do it at this time, and nobody's suggesting that they do it at this time, we're suggesting that when it happens, it's going to be a big blowout and a big problem. If they do it at this time, she can sue them because she checked the boxes and they accepted her application. And only if she's convicted and made it to have a record on her file, they'll be able to dethrone her without repercussions to them. Sad. The other organizations watching is Miss Teen, family members of members and politicians, etc. Someone else says Tiffany got buck up on the right person who going to hit her head clean off. So sad. This over entitled little girl gonna get what's coming to her. The International Miss Universe should ban her and the Cayman Islands from the competition. That will fix them. I know you have your good friends in the committee, and so do I. But they hoping that CMR gets ignored, waiting for her to go off and beat the shit out of the committee members. Charge ? What about what does the committee have? Wash up or wannabe queens, please. They don't know anything about vetting contestants. They're just happy the numbers are up. And then they sent a photo of them over at Star this morning. They said Derry supporting her like she boxed the shit out of her, and Derry can't take much. An overseas person says, Remus Cayman, what happens if she goes to represent Cayman and the international media gets a hold of this information? Someone else said, same thing I said. She used the question and used it in her defense. So the question then being, again, this whole thing about, social media. So yes, that was a complete setup on the part of the committee because they think they're bright. Somebody says, tell that bitch, don't compare your daughter to her. You're raising your daughter to be accountable for her actions. When she is right, you stand by her. And when she's wrong, you do the same, but let her know that she's wrong. And I want to be very, very clear, because as a mother, as parents, right, we do our best. We raise our children. But I look at this young lady with stitches on her face. And I think that if somebody had done this to my daughter, mess up her face and scarred her face for life, blood running down her, you'll believe, say, that I would sit back and allow this young lady to go on and continue. Yes. Y'all said that's serious GBH. The DPP did not charge her with DBH. This is a slackness too of the police and the entire system. What they charged her with was common assault. Did the judge even have these photos available at the time of sentencing? Skin deep, it's all skin deep. Stitches are skin deep too. But that young lady has stitches to her face now, and her face is permanently marked because of this Miss Cayman beauty queen. No. Y'all think my daughter? Listen, y'all need to do a better job of raising your children too and holding them accountable. But it goes both directions. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Good morning. So my question is, who in the committee is going to stand up and take responsibility?
Not a one.
On the international front, when this makes top regional news across the Caribbean this week, who is going to be the lamb to slaughter?
No, they're not going to do that.
The reality is, it is going to be top regional news because the reality is she pled guilty, even though there was nothing on her record for conviction.
Right.
She still pled
guilty. Or she was found guilty. We don't know if she admitted it eventually or if the court just found her guilty, but it's one or the other.
And the fact that she also has pending charges of assault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And her character shows over and over she has no remorse.
Yes.
I want to know which community member is going to stand up and say, I am at fault here.
None of them, because they're all over social media this morning trying to create and write the narrative. The irony of the question that they asked the contestants about the impact of social media.
I hope then, when they're featured on all the top regional news outlets this week, they're all sitting there to answer those questions personally.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, caller. We reached out to them yesterday morning. The reason why the story hasn't yet been put up on the website is because we're giving them an opportunity to respond. And they came back 12 hours after receiving the email saying, oh yeah, we'll get back to you. Because obviously this morning they're busy trying to create a narrative of their own making on Star, on this talk show. And that it's like the committee needs to be disbanded. I cannot say it more than enough. Thank you, caller. Good morning. Oh, sorry. I mean, unmute you. Good morning, caller. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi. Morning, sir.
How are you doing?
My dear, right here. How are you?
Enjoying the show as usual.
Thank you.
GBH means grievous body harm.
Yes.
I know you know, but maybe forget.
Yes. You saw the pictures this morning that required stitches to this young lady's face. Do you think that that's GBH? I mean, I know it's a matter of discretion.
It is. It is.
And
I don't think so. I know so. It's grievous body harm.
And they only charge her with common assault, you see. And again, I don't know if the judge would have had the benefit of, I'm sure she got a witness impact statement, but I don't know if she would have had the benefit of actually, and I'm saying, I don't know if it's a male or female judge, but I don't know if they would have had the benefit of seeing these pictures. Because a lot of times the prosecution waters down the offense because they just can't be bothered to try to prove GBH. So they water it down, and that has an impact on the outcome of the case as well.
Wrong charge.
Yeah. Thank you, caller.
Take care. Have a good day.
All right, my dear. So, you know, those are the pictures. You guys can certainly view them for yourself. And let me just have I'll show you some of the other comments that are being queued up. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Hi, good morning, Sandy. I wanted to actually make a comment in regards to when individuals say about giving people a second chance.
Yes.
I am an advocate of individuals receiving a second chance.
Yes.
When people are remorseful of their crimes, remorseful of their wrongdoings. Nobody forced her to do this. Nobody, you know how many people I wish I can slap up?
Trust me.
How many people I wish I can just go in and hit down?
Yeah.
But I can't.
You can't do it without consequences.
There are consequences.
Exactly.
And I ruin my reputation, my family, my job. There are things at stake. So if she doesn't understand this, then we as a public need to make her understand. Now, granted, people deserve a second chance. She's not applying for a job. When you are applying for a job that is your livelihood, yes, you deserve a second chance.
Yes.
You are being the ambassador of our island.
By
we
choice.
Need to send the best out there. We don't need to send someone that has committed a crime. She's either being convicted or not. It's not ladylike to be hitting somebody with a weapon and pounding down doors with machetes and assaulting a police. Can't we get better women out there? There must be other young women who are exemplary young women out there.
And might I ask you a question, right? Do you think it's possible that because the committee has entertained such slackness on a regular basis, that the other young ladies who are of a better caliber are not inclined to participate because they don't want to be around this kind of foolishness?
Well, you know what? It's not only that, but it comes to me to question. Now, it's already done. It's already done. I am not here to tear her down. Please, whoever are advocating for her, please understand this. I thought she's beautiful. She's stunning. She looks wonderful in her dress. She did her performance. But this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking she has a year. She has other events to go to internationally. How we don't know, and I'm just going to say it out here, no offense to the nation, Miss USA say something to her out of the way. She not going to lick up Miss USA with a curling iron up in her head. And then next thing you know, we in broad news. All I have to say is the committee, if you're going to support her, then you better make sure that she is controlled behavioral-wise. That means Miss Dara Lee, you better make sure you up in her face, giving her medication.
Yes,
because
exactly.
This is what happens when you do not go through a vetting process.
Exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she needs to be treated like an outcast. Absolutely not.
And we are such a forgiving community that she never would be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if you have gone through in the past vetting process saying you can't have children, you can't be married, you can't be at this height, you can't be overweight. If they go through all of those surfaces of vetting process, then why is it they could not have looked closer and ensure that this girl doesn't have it wasn't convicted or pending case in court? You're going to try and tell me none of them couldn't figure this one out? You're going to try and tell me none of them have enough common sense to search and make sure? Now, again, she's going to represent our country, but I can tell you one thing. As a Caymanian, I'm at the edge of my seat. And I'm saying, please, whatever you do, girl, you go out there and you shine and you do your best and keep your behavior intact. Because we're all at the edge of our seats. And you know what? Let's just hope for her that nothing don't trigger her, because we still don't know what the trigger events are. Because has she been treated? Has she been observed
and
by
let me,
somebody in a medical field?
Yes. Let me say two things about that, caller. One is the last conviction that was not recorded. The court said that she needed to court mandated therapy and stuff, right? To the best of my knowledge, no one has ensured that that has happened. Nobody. Okay. The same people who are enabling her are not helping her.
It's sad because she's not the only one who has challenges.
That's right.
Behavior-wise.
And the last situation, before they interviewed her, the police contacted her medical health professional and said, is she okay to be interviewed? He examined her and said, go right ahead.
So, I mean, I kind of have to scratch my head on many things. First of all, take her out of the picture.
Yes.
What is the committee doing besides posing up and taking pictures on Facebook and putting makeup on and everything? What are you all doing?
Right.
Because if other countries, no, don't get me wrong. I know that Jamaica goes through a rigorous, application, and that's because they have many ladies.
Exactly.
Cayman, we don't have as much ladies. We understand. But why is it we still can't go through the same standards? And we, the public, deserve that? When we have Miss Cayman go and represent us, I don't care if Miss Universe or Miss World, it's still an international platform. If you go and represent us in an international platform, guess what? I need you to behave yourself. But how can we depend on that if the people in the committee hasn't done their job? And I need, and for me as a public, I hope that they don't call her crowner. I really hope the best for her, really and honestly, because that would be shameful.
Yes.
But at the same time, somebody needs call for
there has to be some accountability. And one of the problems I suspect is because she keeps getting 5th, 6th, second chances in her head, she does not believe, because I can't imagine that she understood that, okay, I'm in court again, and this time I might actually get convicted, and this is going to impact my reign if I win. I can't believe she actually thought this through, because she's had so many chances that she believes nothing is ever going to happen to her no matter what she does.
Has anybody thought that maybe she has narcissistic behavior?
Well,
I mean, again, we have not really identified what are. So if you cannot identify the behavioral roots, how are you going to have her represent our country? Yes. I just can't make. I can't.
Anthony says that we need to give you the crown this morning, Cha. He said, "Yes, caller."
I mean, I'm just trying to make a point clear. We ain't stupid. No, we not here downgrading the girl. No, absolutely not. She did a wonderful job. But what is the process? And now we are questioning the committee. Oh, don't let me go about the judges. Do not let me get that topic. Even made a big issue about the Speaker of the House. Why don't make a big issue about the judges? How can a judge that hit a woman come and go and judge a lady character?
Oh my God! And hit caller. Oh Lord, hallelujah! And the worst part is he has beat more than one woman so many times.
And this is one. No,
oh my God!
What I'm trying to say, we need to unmask the foolery.
Yes.
The
Thank
foolery.
you.
If you can
Amen.
go up on
Amen.
stage and talk about, oh, women rights, women
Yes,
deserve.
yes.
Hey,
And
you
they're
think because you
empowering.
have a
Listen,
judge,
they're empowering women by putting a judge as a friggin' wife beater, woman beater.
you can try and tell me all of the nice men out there of caliber in this community that are nice men who treat their wives with respect.
Yes.
You can't.
And
tell
they could
me
have
you
picked. They
can't
could have
have
picked
them to
anybody
judge.
as a judge. They could have picked anybody as a judge.
Anybody as a judge.
Yep.
Anyone that understands
Yes.
good composure, good posture. Good
And
speech,
just to radio
anyone that can
listeners, we're
judge
going into a little bit
fairly.
of overtime this morning, so keep tuning
I'm
in on
sorry,
radio.
Sandy.
No,
I
no,
just
that's
had a
okay.
vent.
That's okay. I was able to get a hold of the team, and they've allowed us to go into overtime a little bit. But caller, I could not agree with you more.
To say that.
Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lord have mercy. That caller was so on point and eloquent this morning. Exactly. Exactly. They can pick anybody as a judge. They have all 70,000 of us they could be picking from. And they go and pick someone who is a convicted and known womanizer and woman beater. Y'all don't want me to read that file. You would be shocked. Oh my God. What is wrong with this committee? If you stand here today and do not see how they should be disbanded, Tabitha says it's just a damn pageant. Let's put this much energy into government issues. We do. And this is a government issue because guess who is spending money and wasting money on this pageant? Talk about they're empowering girls. Y'all need to stop with the foolishness this morning. That's our money, Tabitha. That's why I'm going to speak on it. Right? You want to talk about government issues? Government wastes a lot of money on different things. And if we want to create something that we claim is going to empower women, let's make sure that that is the case. And it's actually not a situation where we're doing the opposite, where we're teaching young ladies how to stand in the mirror and lie to themselves. We're teaching young ladies that it's enough in this world to have a pretty face and a dirty behind. And you can still go out there and do the most and that nobody will ever hold you accountable. That's ridiculous. Government spending money on this. You know how many poor children out there need a scholarship to go and get an education? That's how you empower our people. Educate them. Teaching them that this world is going to be okay with you because you look pretty and your looks is what really matters. No, Tabitha, I can't agree with that. We focus on important things every day. And if you don't see how important this issue is today, I feel sorry for you. And that is precisely the problem. We spend countless energy and time putting together a pageant, right? Having the committee come up with this fanciful thing about, oh, let's talk about the impact of social media because they knew the firestorm that was coming. It was a whole setup. And then you think that that is okay for government to be spending that kind of money? She says we need to let it go. We need to let it go when there is some change coming. We have had this energy for lots of other things. You've been missing the program, child. You clearly don't tune in on a regular basis, Tabitha. It is a matter of principle. This is what it comes down to. And what I'm saying is that as a community, we are not principled. We just believe in the exterior and the fluff and the pomps and circumstance of the situation. We are not principled people. That is why y'all can sit in church every single Sunday, talking your church verses and listening to the good ministers preach. And at the same time, you are WhatsApping people about what numbers played. You can sit in church and then go home and get on your computer and look at child porn because we are truly not a principled people. We are a bunch of fraudsters. This is the truth. We lie to ourselves, right? Elected officials get up talking about, oh, they support family values and they're Christian men and women and they're speaking out against the LGBT community and they're one of them themselves on the down low. But yet, that's the only thing they can go out there and march about. We are not principled people. We are duplicitous people. We are liars in this community, Tabitha, and that is the point. It's all about the looks and materialism. And yet we talk about we're trying to build up young ladies, build up their self-esteem through their looks. She won because she looks good and she spoke well. She answered her question. How does that reflect on what is on the inside? It doesn't. And that is the world of beauty pageants. So if we're going to accept it, let's accept it for what it is. We are a country full of duplicity and lies. And this is just another example. Like I said, the young man on social media was like, oh, well, it started with Kiva Bush. No. It's been going on a long time. And it's not going to stop. It's going to continue going. And until we can be honest and start to have these discussions, and more importantly, hold people accountable. It comes down to accountability. Who needs to be held accountable here? Well, the court will deal with Tiffany. They will decide how they will hold her accountable. The committee, the government of the Cayman Islands, a few of you were asking, who does this fall under? It falls under the Minister of Tourism. The ministry needs to disband this entire committee and start from scratch and get some new fresh blood in there who understand what it is to have some real criteria. Now, someone sent me, caller, I'm aware that you're waiting. Just give me 1 second. Someone sent me this. Rules and regulations for contestants. Now, I don't know if this is, hold on 1 second. Let me see if this is Cayman. Because I don't think we have any is a problem. But this person says, people are failing to understand that this is not about holding someone down for their past. I believe everyone can be redeemed from their past. However, this is current and active in language used in the judiciary. The charges in pageantry are running concurrently. The past is the past, but we cannot have two polar opposite present scenarios happening at the same time and be okay with it. The standards have to matter. And then they have they sent me this, as you see on your screen. It says eligibility for, oh yes, this is Miss Cayman. So it says in order to enter the Miss Cayman Islands pageant, the pageant contestant shall, and then it has unmarried, be of a particular age, have a teen age of 18, blah, blah, blah. Number D says be of good character with no criminal record, save that convictions for minor traffic offenses will not be taken into consideration. Be of good character. What does that term even mean? Well, I think that we can all agree here today that what is happening here is not of good character. Right? How sad. Your comments. This person says it doesn't matter what the backstory is. It's not a good look. She will not just stay in Cayman. She's representing us in the world, and we have to raise the standards. This other person says, sad, Miss Sandy, the MCIU also need to give the people a view of where these funds are going. Caller.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention before is everybody keeps calling up or messaging up and using your daughter as an example for anything.
And deflection.
I don't know how you missed it. I know you missed it.
No, Charmin, I miss it. I miss it. That people do that all the time.
I think what's happening here, Caymanians, generational boneyard like myself, and newcomers to the game. I think what's happening here is with calling up children into this baby. She's a baby.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I don't even take them. I generally don't take them on, honey, because I've gotten used to it now. That's what they do. Anytime you call out Caymanians, the first thing they do is deflect, and they do it in different ways. I gave some examples earlier, and this is another way. Yeah.
this young lady out
Oh,
of this
what about you?
situation.
You must remember you
And
have a
call
daughter
her,
too, you
but she
know.
call her to go to bed.
Yeah,
Just take her out of the situation and
Yes.
look at the situation. Because
Exactly.
we're a small community and it may be painful, hurtful, and whatever. Just discuss the situation and take this young lady out of it
Yeah.
altogether.
Thank you, Colin.
Let the process, the official process, deal with what they should deal with officially. But this should never have happened, and it should never happen again. This is my Cayman. Like I say, I too old and I was never pretty enough. But this is my Cayman, and it should never have happened to one of our own young that we, whether intentionally or whatever, break her over the coals for her behavior. Because, like, who doesn't vet people? Let me tell you something. I went for a job one time, and this is from the 70s, that involved only reading. I could read from time I was 5 or 6, and nobody really taught me to read. The rudimentaries of reading, yes, but I got them and I functioned and I put them here in this box and in the next box, and in 2 days I could read and understand. I went through in my lovely government, I went through about 3 hiring committees of top-notch people, and basically I was only being hired to read. Not to go to Archangel Russia, as Consuelo used to say, to represent anybody. So somebody fell down on the job, and I wouldn't even want to kick everybody in the face because I'm not like that most times. But there are times when I get on the high horses and I'll do that too. But somebody fell down on the job. Make us brush ourselves off as Caymanians, get up, and if we have to start from get-go, from stage 1, let us do it and do it right this time. We cannot have this happening, because what people who are upfront and overt people will do, well, she got away with it, so I can go to, don't bring that down on this little country. Cayman, by my standards, we are just struggling to survive. The foreign people who are here not struggling to survive, you know, they come and I came, I conquered, I see, I went, and I'm going home. We are left here with our Cayman that we love, and our Caymanian people that we love, Caymanians. We are left here with ourselves. Let us try to heal ourselves. Let us try to examine ourselves when we need examination. Yes, but let us try to heal ourselves and stand behind one another, whatever side of the fence you're on. And like you try to say, another caller's try to say, we don't really want to kill nobody. Like I said about her mother. Imagine her mother called the police on her own daughter. I know that woman didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And the part where they say, on a treat not too rough, that's a mother's heart. It is the most foolish place, not on planet, not in Cayman, in the universe, is a mother's heart. And if people don't understand that, they don't really understand much about human psychology. A mother's heart is the most foolish place. So she called them, she'll be shamed, but you're gonna hurt my baby. And the baby's on over 20. Baby, but still your baby though.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you,
I
my
hope
dear.
you don't beat you up too bad.
Thanks, my dear. Yeah, people do this all the time. I've really learned to not even really take it on, because, you know, they like to say, well, remember, you're a mother. And before I was a mother, they would come up with something else. Oh, well, you have sister. I'm like, really? And I hold them accountable too. I hold my sisters accountable. I talk about their dirt on this show too. So your point being, right? It doesn't matter who it is. Yes, I have a daughter, and it is my responsibility as a mother to try and raise her so that hopefully in life she understands that even if she has mental health issues, she will ultimately be held accountable for her behavior. And nobody gives you anything in life. You don't get a pass. I would be doing her and the community at large a disservice if I sat back and allowed her to just do whatever in life with no degree of accountability just because she's my daughter. That can't happen. And in fact, because she is my daughter, and I'm also a person now a little bit in the public space, that she's going to, she always asks me, Mommy, everywhere I go, people know my name. And I said, yes, they know who you are and they know your name. And so there's a lot expected of you. She doesn't quite get what that means yet. But from now, that is the narrative. That is the message. Some of you are asking who the judges were. Here's a picture of the judges. Others asking who are the committee members. Here are the committee members. There you go. They said, we got you. Well, I hope y'all got her when she's convicted. And you're able to assist her getting the help that she needs at that time, because undoubtedly that will be a very, very difficult time for her. I hope you got her by showing up every single time she has to go to court now. And who has the victims, by the way? You guys got the victims too? Who are now afraid of repercussions? Miss Marva, good morning. She says, Sandra, thank you for being generous to extend extra airing time for those who watch MCIU on Saturday or were there, like myself. You would have heard the chair state that Miss Universe is changing or has changed their requirements to include women who are married or with child under 28. Now, she never mentioned convictions or future convictions. So maybe this is also part of their changes, upgrades, a sad situation. I'm overall disappointed with these changes for Miss Universe. So apparently that's the Miss Universe pageant internationally, which will impact all of the local countries as well. Yes, they're going to be opening it up to women who are married as well as women who have children. Now, I don't know if that means children as in you're not married, but you have a child. I would say that the pageant seems to be going in a totally different direction. So then it's not going to be an MISS universe anymore. It's going to be what? I don't know. Anthony says, I'd love to hear the perspective of the other contestants who didn't win. Were they aware of this controversy and what are their thoughts? Well, you know, most of them are not going to have anything to say because they'd be ostracized. But yeah, I mean, I don't know really how they feel about the situation. Listen, they all worked hard, and not to take anything away from Tiffany during the competition. She worked hard. She prepared herself. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's why ultimately I think that this is a sad situation, you know, and I hope that there are some lessons that can be taken away from this, and there are lessons to be learned, but I don't know, because what I see happening even today as we speak, the committee continues to front and to pretend. It's just unbelievable. It's just, I have no, I have no belief that anything will change. The only way that the committee is going to be disbanded, because they're so disillusional, is that someone would have to step in. The ministry would have to step in and say, okay, you guys have totally gotten this wrong, as well as other stuff in the past. This is the icing on the cake. And so we're going to get new people. A lot of those committee members have been there too long anyway. You know, what exactly are they bringing? What's fresh and what's new and different? Some of you were joking even about the costumes this year. Somebody sent me the photo of some, and they're like, whoever's dressing these women needs to be fired. And I was like, oh Lord, I'm totally not going there. I'm not even going to get into it. No. So, someone else says, by the way, Jaron can defend her because he has a history of domestic violence with his baby mamas. Well, you know, sometimes when you start to speak up on stuff, people start to talk. And when people say, oh, Cayman is a community that does not forgive and we always tearing each other down, that's actually not true. We actually have the opposite happening. We're a community and a society that ignores a lot. Those are facts. I mean, Jaron's my cousin, but it wasn't until recently that I got to understand from the same baby mamas that he has a history of putting his hands on them. That my cousin? I'm telling y'all the God's truth about my cousin this morning. And they called me and told me some very disturbing things. Now, Jaron, I had no intentions of outing you this morning, but since the caller listened to the program brought it up, let me just say that is well known. You've lucked out so far. That's why sometimes when you comment certain things on social media, other people be like, Jaron, go sit your ass down, because we know the truth. And you need to relax yourself, because all you do is put yourself in the line of fire. And you doing so for Tiffany, well, good on you, but people are talking about that too. Right? So if we want to talk the truth, especially when it comes to domestic violence, and abuse, it's a very serious. Listen, I have a family right now who wants to meet with me this afternoon. Their sister, she's a mother, Caymanian, being subjected to domestic violence, and they need an intervention. They're like, Sandy, we don't know what to do because she can't get out of the situation. She keeps supporting her abuser. We need your help, and we think that you can help us. This is a serious thing on our, y'all want to talk about some serious issues? The violence that is being perpetrated in this community, physical violence, which unfortunately Miss Cayman has been a part of. That is no joke. And this is an example of how women, you can't look at a woman and say, oh, but she's petite, she's small, whatever. She is capable of assaulting men, multiple men. She's capable of beating people up. And that is serious. You want to empower women? Well, you empower them by being honest that regardless of whatever your mental health issues are, you can't put your hands on people. This person says, I love you, Sandy. Thank you for this show. This other person says, preach, Sandy, the show topic today. You put your hands on people. You see what a caller comment called defending stuff. What did she end up saying? Yeah, boy, yeah, you know, she had put her hands on my son. That would have been different. Right. Look at the picture again of this girl with stitches to her face. If she had done this to my daughter, Jesus would have to help her. Martin says, bucking your toe is a mistake. At what point do you stop kicking the table? After the second time, this ain't a mistake no more. That girl knew what she was doing and will embarrass us again. Miss Darlene says, where is the young lady that was assaulted? Is she still in Cayman? I don't even know because she's so afraid. She remains afraid today. That's why she would only send in a voice note. She's afraid. She's expressed that she still believes that this girl has the power to do stuff to her. And you just empowered her even more. Damien says anytime blood is drawn, that's GBH. It's not just a common assault. Evelyn also says that should have been a GBH charge. Andrea says she did that to that girl. Wow. Damien, the ministry responsible for this is tourism and transport. Real Deal says if that happened to my daughter, I'm happy at this age to go sit northward for a long time. Right? Suzette says a lot of lessons to be learned from this very sad, hot and sad topic. Sandra, I'm praying for you as I can hear in your voice how very upsetting, but yet real sensitive this is. I'm so concerned as to what is the overseeing committee saying, as I'm sure they're hearing you, this program. I don't know. And like I said, I want to be very, very clear, folks. I take no pleasure, none, zero, zilch, in having to talk about this. Because I expected the committee to do the right thing. This pains my heart. I feel for Tiffany. I feel for her family. But that doesn't mean that we should sit down and ignore it, because that's not going to help her in the long run. A little bit of tough love sometimes is exactly what they need. Mallory says, so if she has pending cases, it doesn't show up on her police record? No. Nothing shows up on your police record until you actually have a conviction. But it would have been very easy for the committee to have more than just those 5 standard requirements to enter. They need to do more on their application process. They need to vet people more, because you can ask simply, do you have any pending court cases? What's the nature of it? Even traffic you might want to know about. Imagine someone is in court, right? Just pulling aside, let's leave her situation for a second. Say that you're in court now for a murder trial and you're able to run in a Miss Cayman pageant, because that's exactly what's happening. So you could be up on a gun charge, a murder charge, any kind of charge, and you'd be able to run as a contestant. That can't be right. Sharon says if she can get away with assaulting the police, then this island would have some serious problems because other criminals will do it. Well, they do it all the time. I just haven't seen too many people get away with it more than once. Damien says intermittent explosive disorder. Oh, this is a thing? Okay, I need to look that one up, child. I'm not all that familiar with that one. Paul says, morning, Sandra. You can't make this stuff up. She needs to step down in the first runner-up to become Miss Cayman. Well, she's not going to do that. I feel confident that's not going to happen. We'll see. The committee not even going to step down. Just as the committee had no business even letting her register, the committee needs to be disbanded ASAP. William Levy says multiple times. Did she ever go to prison? Because I know I would have been sent to prison. Child, me and you both. I boxed a police officer. I would have been live streaming from prison. Marshall says that's they all allowed her to win. They know what she's capable of. So maybe they were scared. Noelle says, get off the negatives, Miss Cayman, and start talking about the positives, as she did no wrong and only had history in the islands by becoming the first two sisters in winning. So she's done no wrong. Noelle, I hope you've been listening to the program. And that's that's interesting. So that was the end goal, to be the first of two sisters after both trying twice to win the title, to become Miss Cayman, because that's going to go down in the record books once again, because we're all impressed with the fakeness of, oh, that's more important. Being the first, oh, we just made a record, the first of two sisters to hold a title, is more important than the fact that you've actually been found guilty, nothing recorded, but you've been found guilty twice now in a court of law, and you got your third one pending right now, and you go around assaulting police and doing all this other stuff, right? Scarring people. All that doesn't matter. Let's stop talking about that, because the most important thing here is we've just made record. Woohoo! Go on, Cayman. Come on through, girls. Oh, Lord. Alexa, no, I'm not talking to you. That's what's important, Noelle. It's important that they've made history, being the first two sisters to hold a title. Wow. Let me say this. Since y'all want to be like, well, you got a daughter too. What if this was your daughter? It would never be my daughter to have something in court. Kind of saying she mightn't go to court. Lord knows. She might end up in court, but she's not going to be joining a pageant while she has an active court case. That's why this wouldn't be my daughter. Okay, so yeah, she might do shit. She might end up in court. She's going to be held accountable. But what she wouldn't do, even as an adult, right? Now, of course, you can't stop adult children once they're under your roof. But if she's under my roof, I'd be like, Gianna, you're not getting in this pageant, honey child. You will get no support from me. And I will get on the radio and talk about you the same way. Your own mother. How about that for some apples this morning? Chewing that. We'll be ending the program at 10:30 this morning. Marshall says it's not going to happen. That committee's going to go on like nothing ever happened, and they'll all remain in their position, just like the Port Authority Board. Maybe the minister needs to go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Take the wheel. Oh, Lord, poor Kenneth. Y'all be stressing the man out. Like I said, now they're trying to blame him, saying that he is the reason, apparently, why she's there, which I do not believe. But that's what I got circulating. That was the phone call I got yesterday. At Sandy, you're not here. It's the minister's fault. I said, geez, I'm peace. I said, leave poor Kenneth alone. Tracy says, I have now terms and conditions committee have to adhere to, and a clear police record has to be produced. Okay, so Bonnie thinks that there's more important issues to talk about. Bonnie, stay with the program now. There are many issues in Cayman, and we can talk about them all. That's the whole point of a talk show program. Amy, however, says, thank you. It's too often swept under the rug. Abuse is a serious issue. Because apparently abuse really isn't that important. It's okay to go around abusing people. That's not an important topic. According to y'all, there are more important topics. It's kind of crazy. All right, then. Darlene says, tell her to call me. I will tell her to free herself, love yourself, first ladies, we need to have a whole other show on domestic abuse and violence, because clearly that's also at the forefront. Anthony says, Sandy, you need to keep tabs on the court case and trial. Rank and corruption cannot be allowed to fester and grow. What a mess. What a mess. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much. Someone says, which judge is convicted? Maybe I need to go and dig up that court case too and give y'all the cold hard truth on that one, because y'all don't believe it until I have to break it down. Y'all really don't. Cameron says, Sandy, say chew on them apples. Jaron, good morning. Salvin says, right or wrong, Mr. Brian carrying some crosses. Yeah, man, he got a whole bag full of crosses, chill. Sabrina says, of all the things Cayman has turned their face away from, domestic abuse takes the cake. And sadly, all the charges pretty much stem from her wanting to assault people. So if we really want to talk about domestic abuse, I hope we recognize that it goes in both directions. Anyway, folks, that's all I got for you today. Not a topic that I wanted to talk about, but, very, very sad day. We'll see what happens. I will certainly keep y'all up to date. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about whatever else is topical for sure, without a doubt. You guys have a blessed day. And I think we need to play this outro song, Find a Way Out, because it's so appropriate.
People talking. What are they talking about? This world's gone crazy, and I'm trying to find a way out. Nobody knows where we're going, or if we're going at all. Nobody cares if we stand, if we have nowhere to fall. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. So many questions answered without an answer to tell. Too many things on my mind for anything to go well. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz.
Number 7, Tiffany Connolly.
Tiffany Connolly is Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2022. First runner-up went to Chloe Powell-Doxey, and second runner-up went to Haley Grizel. A number of special awards were announced before the main titles, with a few of the ladies winning multiple times. The Ted Green Band ambassadorship went to Chloe Powell-Doxey, who also got Best Legs. Immediately following Tiffany being announced as the winner, many became outraged as she has pending court matters and a history of poor character. A Georgetown liquor store was robbed by a man with a firearm early Saturday morning. Just before 2 a.m., officers responded to a report of an armed robbery at the Liquor for Less store on McClendon Drive in Georgetown. A man entered the location pointing a handgun and demanded cash from the staff. He then fled the location on foot, with a quantity of cash. CMR has received CCTV footage from the robbery, and here it is. No shots were discharged and no one was injured during the robbery. Police continue to look for Luisto Eusebio Hernandez in relation to firearm offenses. He is considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached. If seen, call 911 immediately. The search is still on for two missing men. 53-year-old Noel Paul Manning has been missing since June 24th, and 26-year-old Adrian Williamson has been missing since July 6th. Now you are asked to contact your nearest police station if you see them. Anonymous tips can be provided directly to the RCIPS via their confidential tip line at 949-7777 or via their website. The Department of Environment's turtle team have been extremely busy. There were so many turtle nests that they were out for more than 10 hours logging them all. Knowing more female turtles were coming back to nests one night, their visiting scientist Joe Roche went out for night work while enforcement were put out on anti-poaching patrol. Joe was checking nesting areas along 7 Mile Beach when he came across a turtle that took a wrong left turn and ended up in a pool. So Joe, Chief Conservation Officer Mark Orr, and a helpful tourist family helped the turtle out of the pool. She then made her way down to the beach. DOE is reminding those who have homes or businesses on the beach that non-turtle friendly lights can disorient adult turtles and hatchlings. Therefore, you're asked to upgrade your lights to turtle friendly lighting. To find out more about the DOE's Turtle Friendly Lighting Program, send an email to emu.doe@gov.ky. As of August 1st, Fidelity Bank has rebranded itself as Proven Bank after being acquired by the Proven Group earlier this year. The bank claims that its rebranding will strengthen its infrastructure to provide funding for major development and corporate projects through Cayman, affording opportunities for Caymanians employed with the organization. They are expected to remain open for business as usual as the transition and rebranding are completed. They also stated that an evaluation of the business for efficiency and compliant structure will also be taking place. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce's Leadership Cayman class of 2022 raised $74,000 for Boys to Men, a local charity that assists high school boys who are 14 to 16 years old. 25 class members organized the lock-in fundraiser in July at the Chamber's offices in Governor Square. Now, each class member appealed to family, friends, and corporate donors. The class shattered its original fundraising target of $25,000. Boys to Men has grown significantly since school counselor Christopher Murray established it in 2009. He noticed many young men who were drifting into trouble because they lacked strong male role models. The Cayman Islands Center for Business Development launched its inaugural Grow Your Business program, a 15-month initiative intended to steer businesses through their growth period. Now, 19 small Caymanian businesses representing a diverse array of consumer-facing products and services, including jerk chicken, real estate, beauty, and air conditioning, among many others, were chosen to participate. The entrepreneurs who have founded these businesses will participate in weekly 3-hour sessions until October, with training in specific areas that will aid in strategy formulation, decision-making, and increasing productivity. Now, each business is assigned a trained Center for Business Development advisor who will help the business navigate the 15 months of working closely with the entrepreneur, including identifying challenges and hurdles, creating and implementing a strategy of monitoring progress. Grand Cayman liquor license holders, including those with music and dancing licenses, are reminded of the upcoming annual liquor licensing meeting, which will be held on September 8th. Liquor license holders who are seeking to renew their license are reminded to submit their renewal application by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, August 9th, to be added to the meeting agenda. Renewal applications can be completed on the Department of Commerce and Investment website. License holders are also advised that licenses expiring on September 30th must be renewed at this annual session to operate for the new license period, which begins on October 1st. International beach volleyball competition returns to the Cayman Islands this year as the Cayman Islands Volleyball Federation is set to host one leg of the Caribbean Zonal Volleyball Association Under-23 Men and Women Beach Volleyball Tour. Minister for Sports Honorable Bernie Bush and volleyball officials announced that the event will take place from September 2nd to 4th and is the fourth stop on the tour. Some 32 teams from 16 countries are expected to travel to the Cayman Islands to compete in this tournament. More information on each of these stories can be found at caymanmallroad.com. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:04. The day starts off partly cloudy, but then the clouds and rain chance will increase as the day goes on. The temperature rises to the high 80s, but it will feel much hotter than that. With the high temperatures at 88 degrees Fahrenheit and the relative humidity is at 74% like the forecast calls for, the temperature will feel around 102 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds will be east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, then the sun sets at 6:57. When it cools at nighttime, the temperature falls to the low 80s. Looking forward, there is an increase in the rain chance, so keep an umbrella or raincoat with you. Remember, it's summertime, so those hot days and warm nights with scattered showers are always typical for this time of year. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, so we encourage you to support them. Now for some regional and international news. The Bahamas government will host a week-long national memorial with various activities to honor the victims of Hurricane Dorian. The devastating Category 5 hurricane hit Bahamas on September 1st, 2019, killing at least 74 people and leaving many others missing and presumed dead. The government press secretary, Clint Watson, said that the activities will begin next month and will be held on Abaco and Grand Bahama, the two islands directly affected by the hurricane, as well as New Providence. Jamaica has confirmed its first locally transmitted case of monkeypox, bringing the number of monkeypox cases confirmed on the island to 3. Jamaica's first local case comes a day after the U.S. declared monkeypox a public health emergency. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the case was confirmed on Friday and was apparently contracted from someone locally. As of August 2nd, more than 25,000 confirmed or probable monkeypox cases have been identified in 83 countries. The Israeli military launched deadly strikes against what it said were Islamic Jihad targets in Gaza on Friday as tensions continue to rise between Israel and Palestinian militant groups. Islamic Jihad said in a statement that one of its senior leaders had been killed in an Israeli strike. The Palestinian Health Ministry said at least 10 people were killed, including a 5-year-old girl and a 23-year-old woman. Another 75 were injured, it said. Israel insists most of those killed were militants. A Texas jury on Friday ordered Alex Jones to pay $45.2 million in punitive damages to the parents of a Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victim, a day after deciding the InfoWars host must pay them $4.1 million in compensatory damages for the suffering caused by his lies about the 2012 massacre. Now, punitive damages are intended to punish someone for especially harmful behavior. The juror's decision followed expert testimony from forensic economist Bernard Penegill, whose testimony was intended to give jurors a picture of how much money Jones has and by extension how much it would take to punish him for his behavior. Pentongill estimated that Jones and his companies are worth $135 to $270 million, an amount his defense team disputed, and said that Jones and his companies made more money after being deplatformed by several social media outlets in 2018. Jones has maintained throughout the trial that his companies suffered losses since he was removed from the sites. The Miss Universe organization has announced a decision to allow women who are or have been married, as well as women who are pregnant or have children to compete starting in 2023. The decision was announced in a letter sent to national directors. In the letter expressed the need to keep up with the changing times to better represent and support women globally. The decision represents a radical change in the organization, which only allowed single women to enter for 70 years. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thanks for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.